Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and thanks for stopping by. Welcome to Starbase Weekly, the RGV aerial deep dive into images he captured from the ground and air in Boca Chica, Texas. Our dedicated team will guide you through with the latest updates and theories at Starbase, Texas. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon for future streams.
Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of Starbase Weekly. My name is Mauricio and this is episode 35, and I'll pass this along to Indian Star.
Hey everybody, welcome. Another episode. Lots to show you, lots of things happening, a whole bunch of stuff we just found. And Mauricio took the most amazing photographs. You're going to love it. GPJ?
Yep, buckle up for another exciting week down at Starbase. If you love Stage Zero, this is the place for you. And with that, I'll hand it over to my guy, Max Q.
Hey everyone, glad to be back on the stream again. We're definitely in for quite a treat today with some of these shots that Mauricio got this week. Yeah, it's going to be a good one. I hope all you guys enjoy.
All right. Well, hello everybody. This is Zach Golden, and yeah, as he said, welcome to another Starbase Weekly live stream. This week has been quite a wild one, if you ask me. I think there's a lot of stuff happening at Starbase. As always, we're getting closer to that first orbital flight, and SpaceX is doing a lot of work at all of their facilities trying to prepare. And I mean, it's not really all just for orbital flight, but in general, they're ramping up a lot of stuff. We have the Star Factory nearing completion, phase one of the Star Factory nearing completion, and the Mega Bay, lots of stuff happening in there as well too. Plus the launch site. So there's quite a bit to talk about this week, I would say. So. I don't even know where to start, honestly. I feel like we should start with the recent news from this morning. Was that from this morning with the Starlink news?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, that's correct.
Do we actually have an article for that? Because it would actually be a little bit nice to show.
I haven't even heard this Starlink news, so breaking news.
Well, the news is that Starlink V2 will be launched on both Falcon 9 and Starship, which is interesting. I personally, I thought they were too large to fit in the Falcon 9 fairing. I guess I'm a little bit confused on this one because I guess or the Starlinks are supposed to be stacked in like one row, right? Like it's not like there's two rows.
I thought they were in two rows and they were on those rails that just got left off after stage separation. But
So
with the version 2 that we've seen, it's almost 7 meters long. Perhaps it's either a 2.1 variation that is half length, or perhaps they just stack them vertically and mix them in with version 1 Starlink for filler. I don't know. There's a couple of geometric options there.
let's see. We have I have a little bit of. I think it's a. I don't know what this is from, but we have. Sorry about that. Um, SpaceX is proud. I don't want to read this whole thing, but yeah. So as it says here, they'll be deploying them both in Starship and Falcon 9. This is sorry, I didn't have a chance to read this before. This is, like I said, this is kind of breaking news. I'll let you guys read it as I'm reading it as well. It seems like
Yeah, it's becoming increasingly clear now just how
oof, man. Well, to me, this seems like they're in a super rush to get these Gen 2 satellites up in orbit. And I think we've seen that in a lot of ways. There's a lot of things happening at Starbase that indicate that is the case of what's happening right now, without even having this announcement. So I would say, one of the biggest ones is maybe we should just start there. We've actually noticed. I wonder if we have a ground picture of this. So we've actually noticed that ship 26.
yeah, ship 26.
Do we have any pictures of that in this gallery? I know we may have to just talk about it because I think it is inside of tent 1, correct? So I'm not sure if we're.
No, it's near the end of tent 3. And yeah, if anyone's wondering what's going on there, they mostly tiled ship 26 nose cone. And those tiles they look brilliant to me. But then recently we've noticed that all those tiles have now started to be ripped off that nose cone.
Yeah.
And then we've also noticed that a lot of the other ship 26 sections, they seem to be just skipping being tiled.
You think they'll launch that one in expendable mode with that in mind?
Yeah.
Very, very interesting. So, Zach and Max, do you know why it's so important that they launch so many satellites so quickly?
Well, no, actually, I really can't explain that one because the ship 26 already had the tiles on the nose cone. And sorry, as I'm trying to search to see if we have an actual visual of it. It was mostly tiled, right? Okay, we're at the low bay right here, so it's probably inside of the tent, I'm guessing. It was mostly complete. So if they remove it, it would make sense to me for ship 27 to have no tiles on it from the start, and not have any of the pins for them to attach. So I don't think are we seeing the pins right here, or those are just welds.
I think those are welds.
Yeah, yeah. So it would make sense to not have any of those pins from the start. Is this 27 payload bay?
So that's ship 27 payload bay. And we've noticed as well with a lot of the ship 27 sections, they're not having any tiling work done either. No pins, nothing like that. So those have been around for quite a while already.
So to explain my earlier question, the reason it's so important, and not talking specifically about Ship 26 and ripping the tiles off, but why it's so important for SpaceX to get all of these satellites launched within a timely fashion, is that they have an agreement with the FCC for bandwidth, that they have requested X amount of bandwidth for X amount of constellation, and they're going to launch a total number of, if they say 12,000, well, then they have 3 to 5 years to launch 6,000 satellites out of that 12,000 constellation. So with that in mind, they have to keep on that timetable if they want to keep the bandwidth allocated to them, which is why you're seeing like the Project Kuiper that is for Amazon was originally going to launch all on New Shepherds or New Armstrong or whatever. But sorry, I forget what the ship's name is, but it's actually being launched on a lot of ULAs and some other providers just so they can keep up. And also, I believe OneWeb has even contracted with SpaceX, if I'm remembering correctly. So all these constellations have to launch enough so that they keep their license for their bandwidth.
Yeah, OneWeb, and I'm also not 100% sure on that one. That OneWeb was initially supposed to be launching via the Russian space agency, right? And then they switched at the start of the Ukraine war, right? And then now they're contracted to have SpaceX perform all of those launches, I think.
Only some of the launches. OneWeb also signed a contract with Relativity Space to launch the OneWeb satellites on Terran R, I think, when that comes online.
That's right. That was big news. And suffice to say, all of this makes for very strange bedfellows where competitors are helping each other out for money. It's interesting times, kind of like the Russian and NASA space program. Whenever the shuttle went out, the Russians helped us get to space, and now things are a little different.
Yeah. And, just circling back to where we kind of started with this convo, what if I think this is 27 right here, possibly?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this one doesn't appear. I can't really tell. I think it doesn't have the pins on it for the TPS tiles at all. And so, removing them from 26 doesn't really make sense. Like not having them on 27, I could get that. Like if they're in a rush to like get them up as quickly as possible, I could understand that they would, start building ships without TPS tiles. I mean, for me, it's like a sign of trying to fit a certain amount of launches in before the year is over, possibly. So, as far as the PEA goes, they were able to launch 5 times in a calendar year, right? Or we don't actually. That's the thing we don't know is if it's a calendar year or if it's 12 months. So if it is a calendar year, then that means 2022 ends in a little under 3 months, 4 months. So
yeah,
if they really thought that they were going to be able to fit in 5 launches before the year's over, which would be super exciting, by the way. If they're really trying to do that, then they may have to go without adding all the tiles on because that adds a ton of time when it comes to actually building out the Starship sections. So,
is there a slot on this one to expel the Starlinks out of? Because I haven't seen that, but
if it is, I'm guessing it would be on this backside. We can see if we can find another view of that.
Isn't it right there where the blue umbrella was, just to the left of the blue umbrella? You can
I think
see a little bit.
Yeah.
You can see the outline of where the opening is going to be.
Is it right here?
To the left of the blue umbrella?
Oh, there it is. You can see it right there. Yeah.
Yeah, so the stringers are not there, so they'll have space to cut a slot in. Okay, I was worried that, there's no cage in here, there's no slot, but they're not done, obviously.
You guys, that's an F-22 flying above my house right now. I'm in the middle of a Blue Angel show, so it's going to get kind of loud in the background. I apologize.
We actually don't hear it.
I don't know if you guys were able to see that, but if every time they fly by, I'm going to pop it up so you guys understand what I'm getting distracted by. But yeah, I don't think I've ever seen an F-22 in person, but here it is right above my house. Um, anyways, continuing on.
Yeah,
This is
interestingly,
going to
if
be
you
tough for me. I'm not
just
going to
said,
lie. Like if we weren't doing the show today, I would be outside watching this. So.
It's the best reason ever to get distracted.
Hey,
But as
I'm
you're talking,
dedicated right here. I'm
yeah.
not leaving. I'm gonna stick through this.
So as we're talking about that, in the bottom right, I just noticed there's lots of components that are just about the right size to make all those other components to launch Starlinks out of.
Oh,
Those white bags. Did they
are you
move here?
saying that these are what they
So,
construct
and
the?
yeah, like the piece off to the right there looks like it's just about the right height to fit in as for the doorway for the Starlinks, and it's the right radius.
This?
Yeah, I
Ah,
could be wrong.
interesting.
so that's something we could keep an eye out for with ship 26 and 27. So if they're definitely designed just for getting the Starlink satellites to space and that's it, then we could probably expect to see taller racks in both of those vehicles compared to what we've seen in ship 24 and ship 25. To
Because
fit more.
because without all of the tiles on it, it would be a lighter vehicle, so they would be able to fit more of them in there.
Yeah. Well, at the moment, they're using a shorter version of the Starlink racks. But starting with chip 26, we could see the full size thing.
Right. Yeah. This situation is developing pretty rapidly. I would say they're. I would say this is like a little bit disappointing to some people, because if you're not, it's exciting and disappointing at the same time, right? Like if you have, if we're building starships without the TPS tiles, and that means obviously they're going to be expendable, which is a step backwards. However, that also means that we may see 5 launches before the year's over. Like if like that's the only justification I can come up with for doing this. Like if you're in that much of a rush, um, it must be time related. You know what I mean? So, I mean, we have 4 boosters under construction right now. We can go over to the wide bay and just see the. I'm gonna keep calling it the wide bay too. We can see booster 7 sitting in the front of the mega bay, having its center 13 engines installed. There's booster 8 behind that, booster 9 in the front left corner, and then we have what is that? Is that 7.1?
No, this is an interesting one. That is B2.1, the first ever tank that was crushed on the Can crusher.
What does it do
And
there?
Chilling.
well, that's
It's chilling.
that's the thing we don't know right now.
Staging it for destruction.
I just noticed this. Yeah, I didn't see that earlier. Let's get another view of that.
Oh, Zach, can we also mention that all these pictures were taken on August 18th, right? So that was what, Thursday?
Thursday, yeah.
Flyovers were on Thursday and ground photos were yesterday.
So I want to point out something that I've noticed as I've been going through both the ground pictures and the aerials. Anytime you buy a new camera, there's going to be like an adjustment period where you're still trying to learn all the features. And I feel like Mauricio learned a lot of features this week because these images are extra crisp. Both the ground and aerial. We're going to have to spend a lot of time on ground photos this week because there is a lot to show. And for that reason, I'm going to actually skip through the aerials a little bit faster than I normally would, because there's a lot to talk about, especially at the launch site. But yeah, sorry, about 7.1, 7.2?
2.1.
Man, we need like the whole Ring Watchers team on here to be showing. We need like the updated map. Do we have the updated map actually? That'd be cool.
I'll get it for you right now.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think it might be helpful for us to drop this in the chat so that everybody is able to see that. But Thank you. I got the map right here.
Max Q, I swear. How are you still faster than me?
I have no idea.
So fast.
So we have 2.1 test tank. Oh wow, this is super labeled. How do you know those are for B8? Who labeled this?
That would be Jaxie.
I trust
then
him,
I
but
trust
how does he know?
Back up off the labeling now.
There's the other interesting thing as well. Near the chines, you can see engine shielding for B8 as well. All being staged ready.
Engine shielding for B8. Here, I'll go back to the the aerial. Or sorry, not the for B8.
Yeah, if you look down the side of the wide bay there.
Up into this area.
Yeah, let's see
Oh
on the
wow,
pallet stuff.
just on a pallet like that, huh? Nice.
Yeah.
That's all
You
it
know how-
takes.
Yeah, you know how we do at SpaceX.
You know, I wish I'm surprised that there's not a larger storage bay attached to this. Like, I would almost imagine that you would want an entire warehouse attached to the side of this building. You know what I mean? Like all of this stuff being stored outside is, well, I mean, to be honest, like what they've been doing from the beginning. But you know, I feel like we're getting close to being past that point. I mean, I don't mind it being able to see all this stuff, but I'm surprised that this building that's attached to the side of the wide bay isn't longer so that they can fit all this stuff, and like a door so they can actually just, you know, take forklifts in and out and access that. But
Yeah, it really makes you wonder when you compare it to like a NASA assembly facility where it's almost a clean room through and through with everything. You know, a wooden pallet? No, never.
yeah, I mean, if you look at just the amount of dirt out here, right? Like,
And that's flight hardware, which is normally plastic sealed. This is literally going to space and it's sitting in the dirt. And, you know, I love them for it. I really do.
it's interesting for sure. I get kind of surprised at just the way that they do things sometimes. Well, I guess I shouldn't be surprised. I'm more shocked than anything. But yeah, I mean, like I said, we don't mind it because we get to see all this stuff, so it's really cool. But I think we should circle back around here. Let's just do a quick run through of all of our southern locations, which is Massey's and the Sanchez site. I want to go through all this stuff super quick so that we can get to these ground photos because they're pretty intense this week. So Massey's, as you guys can see, we're getting our gun.
Did I hear you put on a southern twang when we went to Massey's?
Massey's, I can't say it with that one.
You got to take out your gun and bang, bang, bang.
Yeah, it's they're definitely still working with building all of this up. You can see all of the dirt in here. Like, that's a lot of dirt.
Yeah, apparently they're breeding dirt piles there.
Kind of weird. But they do have a little berm separating those two areas. And as you guys can see, just normal storage as always. And they poured last week. We were assuming that they would have a bunch of new concrete over in this area. And as you guys can see, they filled that in even more. So this area is getting just more and more covered by the day, which is good because it keeps all of these components over here clean. Let's see if we have another angle of this actually.
I thought I noticed a couple of those pipes we talked about last week were still there this week.
I saw that as well. And that's interesting because they've been, here, I'll go back to that image. They've been adding some pipes onto the launch mount, which is something we're going to talk about here shortly. There are these ones up here.
Yeah, those are the ones.
Yeah,
they look like they're almost burnt in the middle, but I guess they just they welded them together there.
Yeah, I think. Well, it could just be wrapped in there. I'm not really sure. So yeah, I initially thought that these were the ones that were being installed on launch mount. So apparently that's not true, which is interesting. This could mean that we will also see these ones arrive shortly after because now they're currently upgrading the side of the launch mount And I guess we might as well just quickly show it before we continue on too much further.
This is the good stuff right here.
Yeah, and I'm hesitant because I don't want to get too deep into it because you know how these rabbit holes
Give him
go.
a little taste of it.
Yeah, for sure. We should. Here we go. So you can just. I'm not even going to show it from the side. Let's show it from the backside.
Oh yeah, shout out to Mauricio who walked the entire way around the site this week.
Yeah, you guys, if you could see on the bottom as I'm scrolling through these images, we have quite a few of them. Oh, I know this is the side I don't want to show either, but that's okay. So this pipe that's been added onto the bottom, and you can even see it right here, the weld, but these are just about the same as what we were seeing from the air in the other picture. So kind of thought that that's where they came from, was the Massey site, but apparently not. And
What do you think they have flowing through that pipe? Liquid nitrogen or?
Well, I guess if we're going to go into it, we might as well just do it, right?
Do it live.
Yeah, it's pretty rare that we start at the launch site first. Breaking trends here. I guess we can show it from the ground first, and then we'll talk about it from the air as well. So, as you guys can see here in this image, you have this pipe that's coming out of the. Wait, where's my mouse? There we go. You have this pipe that's coming out of the side of the launch mount, and up until the day that Mauricio took this picture, there was far more of them. Actually, I think if we go to a different angle, you may still be able to see some of the ones that are remaining. And by the way, if you guys haven't downloaded the picture set from this week, there are Mauricio. How many photos are there from this week?
There's 400 plus photos. I think somebody said it was 15 gigabytes to download, but you can just use the Google Drive link to view the images and download whatever you want to see.
Wow.
Maybe I should do that for the show. Just kidding.
And that's for Patreon and YouTube subscribers.
That is correct. YouTube and Patreon members get access to these images prior to the stream.
And mind you,
Yeah.
that's only for the ground photos. There's a whole other set of aerial photos that are close to 200.
Yes, exactly. And that's one thing that we should also bring up again. We are currently trying to upgrade storage capability for pretty much the entire staff. So any donations that come in this week are going to be going towards that. We did have somebody offer to donate some external hard drives. So hopefully that will work out for us as well too. But in general, having the storage to match the file size that we're capturing in is definitely necessary. So we thank everybody who's donating towards that so far. And as you guys can see, it is well worth it. These shots are getting like better and better every single week. But with that being said, this pipe that you can see coming out of the side of the launch mount, there were even more of them that were coming out before, but they have now been cut off. Like initially, they were actually hanging out of the side, like the one that we showed over there. And I think that they may have been planning to initially, static fire all 20 engines before having the system fully ready to go. But I feel like something changed because now they're removing the extensions on these pipes and they're plugging them basically in directly to this manifold. So this manifold was installed super fast this week. We have some even better angles of it. We might as well swap over to those ones.
Hey, GB, while you are doing that, I want to remind everybody that you guys can ask questions by entering the exclamation point and then the word question and then space and your question. And if you do it while we're on the different subjects, we can ask them live. So I invite you all to ask questions and get them answered.
Yeah, there's so many images here. I'm like trying to decide which one is the best in order to show this, but we should be able to see it pretty clear right here. You can see these two pipes right there, and they actually come from underneath they go up and down underneath, and on the underside, on the backside, you can see where they come up. Let me get us another angle of that.
While you're doing that, real quick comment and then a question. So comment is, I mean, as much as we would love to have seen multiple static fires this week, by holding off on that and finishing all the fine-tune work with B7 out at the Mega Bay, that allows them to catch up on all this groundwork. And second comment, it feels like these pipes coming up were a first attempt, and the big pipe might be kind of a second attempt at how to handle all this excess stuff flowing around.
Yeah. You know, I've done a lot of like random tweeting over the last few weeks and without a lot of explanation for things. So luckily you guys are here today to get that explanation on what we mean when we're talking about some of this stuff. So in particular, during the first static fire test, we saw the new vent coming out of the side of the launch mount, right? And so we knew that they were connecting them to the Raptor somehow, and the question is whether or not they're going into the actual QD. Oh, we actually can show that as well too. So the backside of the QD, you guys can see right here, all of these pipes coming off of the manifolds on the top of the roof,
Nice.
and they go into the back of the QD. This is a really awesome image, being able to see straight into it. So the question is, are you going to collect this Raptor chill venting from the QD port, which is probably ideally what they want to do, or are you going to have to do a direct connection to it, which is what this appears to be? So when you when you see these pipes come up underneath the table, they have these connections on the end of them, which are the exact same as the connections on the drain ports of the Raptor engines. And obviously, this is not going into the table. It's just hanging out right here. So that means that they are going to be connecting a hose, a flex hose, from these directly to the drain ports on the Raptor engine. And I don't think we need a poll in the chat to say that you can't launch like that.
Can I give a quick shout out to CSI Starbase putting out a video that now helps me understand this way better?
Oh, I guess I should mention that. I actually wasn't going to, but if you guys haven't seen, if you're kind of confused on what we're talking about, then check out the video I put out a few days ago. It's quite long, honestly. But if you guys can sit through this show, I feel like you can sit through that. It's only an hour.
And truly, it's not that long. It's a very good, very deep explanation about what we're looking at, why we're looking at it. It is fabulous.
Yeah, you're
Really
missing out
well
on a
put
ton of
together.
background info if you haven't seen that, I would say. But yeah, this is a pretty big deal in my opinion. Kind of bothers me a little bit just because of what it means. You know what I mean? Like this is not the permanent solution, because if it was, they would have done this a long time ago. And on top of that, I would have to imagine that if you were to actually launch, like even if you drop the booster in here and then have to get up here with that maintenance stand and connect 40 pipes to the outer 20 engines, and then if you allow them to like shear off when you launch, that's not rapid reusability. You know what I mean? Because if you're trying to launch and land multiple times a day, you're not going to land, put the booster down, save the vehicle, bring people to the site to connect the 40 hoses again. Then you have an extra consumable right there that you have to like always be replacing those hoses. Beyond that, I imagine the force of the actual Raptor engines,
Right?
yeah, these probably wouldn't really last very long, I have to imagine.
Yep. But, SpaceX, I don't think they are going to let perfect be the enemy of good enough. And these pipes might be just good enough to get that first launch done. And then immediately after that, they'll work on the perfecting and getting it sustainable.
Yeah. This is wild. Like every day this week, I've just kind of been paying super close attention to what's going on over here. And, I guess we should even mention, because of the fact that there's two, you guys can see that one of them has a red cap on it and the other one doesn't. So I'm assuming that the one with the red cap is probably methane.
It does have a green stripe behind it,
Oh,
which
yeah.
might mean
Yep.
oxygen.
You got the green stripes so that they're marking which one they are. I mean,
I would
the
think
other,
blue for oxygen and green methane kind of makes sense too.
yeah, for sure. That would hold on. I think we have another image that shows the actual pipes, like how they're color coded.
You gotta love that we have all these images. Thanks, Mauricio.
Yeah, this is a awesome like photo gallery this week, and shout out to everybody who had a chance to go through these before we even started. Actually, on that note, I do know I saw some tweets earlier today of some people who did actually go through them. I know they did. So, do we have any questions on this already, Indy?
We do. Hang on one second. All right. So we have a
Mississippi.
question that says, is that a CH4 recycle system? So when you're looking at the pipes, do you see a CH4 methane recycle system?
No. Yeah, well, I guess let's just go into that. If you guys can see here, as we mentioned, that there's the two pipes, right? And Max Q, you had the labels for these, right? What are they?
Yep. So it is the green and grey is the rocket oxidizer, so that'll be the LOX. And then red and grey is rocket fuel, so that'll be the methane.
Red and
But this is kind of confusing with the green stripe behind the red.
so red is fuel though, either way, right?
Yeah.
And then so these wait, but then there's green on this one.
So that's funny because there's green on the other one too. It's a line that goes over, they've spray painted on top of their thing, the connector. So it's a
Let
good
me
question.
let's get it from another angle, see if we can.
Just to make sure I've got my perspective right, are
Yellow.
these are going in and terminating inside the table, right? They're going under and then into.
Yes. So they go under and into. These are actually labeled right here.
Yeah, I was just about to point that out. We've got some labels there.
Enhance.
I don't know if we're gonna get it from that angle. This is gonna be a
So-
really fun episode. We're doing a lot of sleuthing today, guys.
We did try. It's very difficult to find those labels. He got pretty close, but there wasn't a label that we could see. Maybe you'll have better luck. But I did want to interject. We have a lot of donations. So as soon as you get a chance, I'd like to read off some donations. But one of them that I'd like to read off right off the bat is from Aaron Jones, who donated $100. And he just wants to say thank you. He's usually at work on Saturdays and never gets to watch it live, the stream live. So he's been able to learn so much thanks to all of you and definitely found a hidden passion. He greatly appreciates it and is excited to watch with all of us and watch us grow and do great things. Thanks, Aaron.
Wow, thanks, Aaron,
Yeah.
for the support. And couldn't agree with you more. This is definitely a passion. Gotta love this.
And then why don't I go ahead and go over the other donations so we can thank everybody while we're here. 55 Chevy Guy started a donation train with $20 and says, I'm excited to be here sharing history in the making. Anyone else? Starkover came in with $20.
Now that's a name I see a lot in these live streams.
Yes, sir.
55 Sherry Go.
There's a lot of our
It's
regulars are
pretty
always
awesome to
here,
see.
my friend. They're always here. Starkover came in with $20, saying, again, foregoing my storage upgrade for yours. Aw, thanks, Starkover. Rocket Profit with $20 says 400 plus ground and 200 plus aerial photos and has an emoji of his head blowing up. Mine too, RP. Mine too. On all sorts of donations. And then, oops, there's another donation from somebody who I just accidentally removed off the schedule. So I will get that back to you in a moment. Starkover, Rocket Profit. Ah, here we go. T-minus Liv with $5. Thanks, Liv. She throws a chair. That's how she's known. T-minus Liv throws a chair whenever she's excited, whenever she's upset, whenever anything happens. T-minus Liv is throwing a chair. You can guarantee that. And she says, thank you, guys, with her $5 donation. Thank you, Liv. We appreciate it.
Thank you all.
Hey,
Your
Liv.
support means a lot.
It's great to see you here, Liv.
All right.
Welcome back.
Yeah, I had to step away for 1 second. Sorry about that.
No worries.
no.
We got all our donations out. We just got one more from Van Pre, from Faya Van Pre with $20. All of these photos are a part of history.
Amen.
They sure are. I would have to agree with that.
Oh, yeah. Before we get back in, Zach, Indian Star, did we have any questions come up?
Sure.
Or,
we have lots.
especially around the launch table? Go ahead. Why don't you ask a few?
Sure. There was a question real fast that I did want to answer. There's a question of, is there any way to download these photos? The answer is yes. If you become a YouTube early access member or above, or if you join Patreon and subscribe to Mauricio's Patreon, you are able to get these photos, all of the ground photos, and then your tier level of what the images are of the aerials. So there's a lot of them, and you won't be sorry. That's for sure. We are all Patreon members, and almost all of us are, I think, if not all of us. I know I am, and I love every single picture I get.
Yeah, these these are definitely my favorite pictures that I've seen in quite a while, and I almost wish that I delayed my episode for this. There's a lot to see here. With that being said, continuing with what we were talking about, initially we were kind of expecting these pipes to go to two different locations, right? Because you have one methane and one oxidizer. But on this single pipe that they've added, you can see that there are two ports next to each other on pretty much every location. So I'm guessing there's 40 of them in total. And you can see right here that they've installed a what do you call this? A nipple onto the pipe in order to connect the Raptor chill port, which means that this is both oxidizer and fuel going into the same rail. Huh.
Well, if they're
Basically,
putting
we got
a bomb,
we got a nice. Yeah, basically, we got a nice metal ox soup going through that pipework.
Holy crap!
And potentially a little nitrogen, too.
Possibly.
well, if they're doing that, they're going to have a flare stack where they burn that off, because you can't recondense that into methane. You'd have to put it through an air gas separator to reclaim it.
Nobody's going to be reclaiming that one, though. That's why it's going out, right? This is what's not reclaimed.
Yeah, let's look at this from the aerial view now.
I would like to say that all this goes together to prove to me that they're turning the orbital launch mount into a giant flamethrower.
Now, mind you, there's a large portion of our group that thinks that it's just oxygen coming out that pipe. We've only seen that sticker that is green. Excuse me. Yeah. And that I believe means oxygen on the pipe itself. There's a green sticker on the pipe itself. You'll see it at some point.
Yes, so it is possible that this is only oxygen, but like we definitely don't know for sure. So we'll just explore all options here. But right now they have the pipe that comes down the side of the launch mount. Actually, I'm going to have to go back to the ground view just one more time so that we can show that pipe. So you can see it right here on the side of the launch mount. It increases in size once it hits that pipe when these two join together, and then it goes down the side of the launch mount all the way to the base. Matter of fact, we got some good pictures of the base
green
too.
tag is right up at the top of that pipe you just showed us.
I saw that. And green tag usually means oxygen, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. In this situation, yes.
So if that's the case, they would be sending out all of the oxygen and potentially still venting the methane. the problem is that it's like difficult to recapture the methane in this situation because they do have a methane recapture for like the actual large fueling lines. It's called the methane bleed line. It's on the other side of the launch mount. There's another huge pipe that returns back to the tank farm, but that is high pressure methane, which is like at least 8 bar. I'm assuming like whatever that is in the fuel tanks is the same that's in that pipe. But with these, you're venting to atmosphere because it's Raptor chill. Like you normally would just be dumping it off the side of the vehicle. So you can't like combine this into the return system. I don't think because it's two different pressures. But with that being said, if this is oxygen, going back to that aerial view, um, this is the pipe on the left side, which goes through the really nice doghouse they made. Wow.
Are they ever going to finish that doghouse?
Well, I guess they got to extend it now. I don't know. I mean, yeah. So this was the thing that I was wondering this entire time, like, was how complicated this was going to get. Because if they wanted to upgrade the Raptor QDs in order to actually fully recapture everything, then that would require them to send it back to the tank farm, which means that they would have to dig up all of this concrete in order to access the culverts that the pipes are laid inside of. So that would be a pretty huge deal to do that. But right now, they're just sending it out here inside of a pipe with concrete, or sorry, the pipe is inside of concrete tubing. Is that the right word for it? Just a little extra protection. This is kind of initially when I saw that, it made me think that this might actually be methane because um, it's almost like
Explosion proof.
yeah, not explosion proof from the rocket, but like if
Pardon.
if it exploded from the inside, that the concrete would contain that at least a little bit, right? Like it would still probably pierce through, but it wouldn't do anywhere near as much damage without that concrete there. Um, but instead, if this is oxygen, then I would assume that this is probably just blast protection from the actual rocket itself. But
Well,
I
it
mean,
may also be hardening the methalox pipe or the methane pipe from shrapnel should something occur, like a RUD.
yeah,
It's just protection.
yeah, and so you have that protection only going halfway. I'm assuming they'll probably add some more in here, but then you have this pit over here. Well, not a pit, but I guess it is a pit because they're building up the edges around it. So they got a little berm over here for that flow to go into, and I'm assuming that most of it would actually be gaseous oxygen, but if you like later into the Raptor chill cycle, you'll actually probably start to get liquid liquid oxygen coming out, which I think we see a lot during the Raptor chill cycles. You actually see like liquid oxygen pouring out of the sides
And
of the engines.
and that's when you see the Christmas in July effect where it starts snowing all around there.
Yeah, and if you have that liquid flow, then you want a place to um, contain that so that your environmental safety groups don't get very upset. Which I'm not downplaying any of that, but this is part of that mitigation, right? Like you have to be able to contain it.
Yeah,
So
and SpaceX is being a responsible partner and they're protecting their area, and this is perfectly reasonable to do this way.
yeah, and I have a feeling this berm will actually get even bigger. And let's see if we can look at that from the ground and see how big it is. Um, wow,
So I
really
did
cool.
just notice they're only dumping one pipe out there, and they are dumping it and not flare stacking it, which to me makes me think, oh, that's literally only liquid oxygen they're preparing for, or nitrogen, definitely not methane, with that
Well,
particular pipe.
yeah, I mean the thing about it is, Oh, speaking of flare stacks, is this their old flare stack?
Looks kind of toasty up top.
Yeah, this is the old flare stack for the suborbital farm. I'm trying to get a good picture of the base of this one. Oh my gosh. These images are amazing this week.
Aren't they?
It's just off to the right over here, huh? I can't really see the berm. Is it maybe in between these two images? And I'm not seeing it.
So you see the pipe right there in your
Yeah, I
ground
see the
photo?
pipe.
That's the berm that they're creating, and you follow
This
the
is the
pipe to
berm
the
right here.
left. Yeah, so to the left is where they have the U shape.
Is it to the left of this, or is this it right here?
I believe it's
It flows to
Uh,
the left, I think.
Max Q. You were going to say something?
Yeah, I think that's too close to the launch right there. I think it's definitely a lot more to the left.
Wow. Okay, so they're already burying the pipe. This is fun. Let's see. I'm trying to get one more angle of this if I can.
It's
Mauricio,
interesting though. Yes, it's interesting though that they didn't dig a little trench in the ground first and then lay the pipework down in that.
well, that would
Instead,
that would be the slow way.
well, yeah, true.
I guess this is it right here. Like this, I think this is as much as we can see of it.
It's more of a pit than a or
Yeah,
a
they must have
pool.
dug down into it.
That's cool. Hey, that contains it way better. It doesn't flow out that way. Good
Right.
deal.
And on top of that, you can see where the ground level is for the actual concrete slab for the orbital launch pad itself. So I'm assuming that this whole area behind that fence would get built up to that same height at some point. Which means that, yeah, that this is even at this height without like digging it down, it's still like pretty deep in there. And one more second, let's go back to the aerial.
I did want to point out this is the beauty of having ground and aerial photography. We're able to see both sides of this.
Yeah, it's I definitely appreciate this a lot. And we have, okay, sorry, I just noticed a post, little something in the background going on here, just all these labels for the pipes. That's going to distract me if I read that too much, but we'll get into that in 1 second. But yeah, this is crazy. So I mean, they, as you guys can tell, they've been doing a lot of like grading in this area. They obviously pushed back all of um, the like plant material, and it looks to me like they're going to be building this area up even more. They've got a nice path for the trucks to drive in and offload dirt, and it also extends further north as well. Let's go back to a better view of that. 1 second. Yeah, this is a good one.
So Zach, I think you may have studied the I think it's Army Corps of Engineers map as much as I have. Have you noticed anything they're building here that hasn't been in line with the Army Corps plat map?
Nah, I mean,
Yeah,
sorry, go ahead.
everything I've seen so far is in line. They haven't built anything outside of what they had planned to, which is interesting because we keep saying, "Oh, they changed plans," but I don't know. Maybe they really haven't.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this is. I don't think anything has like really changed. As we kind of mentioned on the previous episode, that this is about the most they're able to do without addressing the Army Corps of Engineer concerns. Um, so yeah, I mean they're expanding out into all of the high ground area that's not actual floodplain.
Yeah, once you run into the floodplain, you run into additional wetlands restrictions.
Yeah, so I mean it's going to be interesting to see what they actually do over here. I mean, excuse me.
Yeah, I know part of it, the part where they're building the berm was actually designated as a reservoir, so that was not completely unexpected. And it is expected for the overflow water. Yeah, behind
Over.
the place we were just looking at, where they had dug down.
Oh, okay, okay. Sorry, you're talking about this berm.
Yeah, that whole area is supposed to be a reservoir.
Yeah. Speaking of, oh, you mean the retention pond?
Yeah, yeah.
I think the retention pond was supposed to be right.
Yeah, right there, leading up to the where that berm is.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, this site is looking pretty good. I didn't realize how, I mean, it's still dirty, but how clean it looks until SpaceX posted that photo from this direction, looking at it, and you see this huge like concrete wall back here. It's looking pretty nice right now, I would say. With that, I think we should take a break from the launch site. We're going to come back here again because there's even more stuff to discuss. So let's swing around to the Sanchez site.
Yeah.
We haven't
We covered Macy's.
whole hour, and we haven't even talked about that yet. On that note, if you guys haven't hit the like button yet, please make sure to do that. We really appreciate all of you, and also appreciate everybody who has been donating in the chat. You guys are amazing, and definitely helps us out a ton because we're really trying to improve every week. And you know, hopefully you guys can tell that just within these images. I mean, look at this one alone. Like, this is, without even zooming in, you can tell how clean this is.
Good job, Mauricio.
Yeah, these are amazing. I want to there was something happening over in the Sanchez site earlier this week that I
Before we dive in, Indian Star, you had something real quick?
Oh, just some questions if you want. Do you want some questions on where we were previously, or should I hang on to them?
How about when we get back, let's dive in again right there.
Sure.
So I noticed there were a few things in progress that are still in progress, like the table for transporting the booster, the new one, still being built.
Well, and just there's a chat conversation going on where we're still debating the colors of the labels. There's a thought that the green label on that bleed pipe does not mean that it is LOX, that it means it's LN2. So we're all still discussing that in the chat. My understanding from what I've heard and what I learned from our conversations is that it's a different naming system, different color naming system than what we see on the trucks. So you're right, if it was green on a truck, it would be LN2, but on a bleed line that comes out of the OLM after it's gone through the engines, there's no nitrogen, dedicated only blue line. Therefore,
Indian Star, if I get a job at SpaceX, I'm going to make it the first order of business. I'm going to label all the pipes very clearly.
coolio.
I feel like they're labeled pretty clearly. We have oxidizers green, gray, right? So what is the difference between fuel and rocket fuel? Yeah, so you have red, gray for fuel, or I guess red in general just means fuel. What is the debate in the chat about? I can't watch the chat while we're doing these because it's pretty distracting. I'm not really sure what that debate is about, but keep in mind that all this stuff is like still in progress, so we're not 100% sure what any of it is. We just know that they are directly connecting to the engines. But off of what it looks like, it appears that it's oxygen, and nitrogen I don't think would really make sense because it's not one of the spin-up gases. So yeah, anyways, with that being said, let's continue on. Remember from Max Q in a while. Is he still with us today?
He's here.
Cool.
Accidentally had myself muted. Sorry, everyone.
You're fine. You're fine.
So
go ahead.
that pipe work on the launch mount. This is a crazy theory, but they wouldn't possibly have nitrogen going through it to maybe dilute the other gases, maybe I don't know, negate them.
But I thought nitrogen was used to do the supercooling.
It's used for a bunch of things. Negating the other gases like the buildup of methane is certainly a valid thought. But yeah, it's used to chill the engines. It's used to super chill the fuel. It's used to blow out, vaporize and blow out lines. So yeah, nitrogen. It's kind of the rock star behind the scenes of methane and oxygen. The methalox gets all the glory, but nitrogen does a lot of the work.
Yeah, I mean, I think the nitrogen actually is more involved, like as a purge, right? So, after engine startup or an aborted engine startup, you would purge all the system of all of the fuel and oxidizer. So that's what you would use that nitrogen for. So it's already there, but I don't think that. Yeah, I just can't imagine nitrogen being in that system for the Raptor chill or for the what do you call it? Yeah, that is the Raptor chill.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would
Yeah,
that would most likely be liquid oxygen and liquid methane in that Raptor chill. I don't think there would be a reason to see nitrogen in there.
Our chat disagrees with you.
Well, let them disagree. That'll happen.
It'll happen. They disagree
Somebody's
with
got
me
to
too
be.
because I agree with you.
Hey, look, somebody's got to be wrong here. I mean, it's probably me, but we'll find out.
It's okay. The good news is we're going to
rock, paper,
clarify it.
scissors.
Sorry, go ahead.
I said we could do a rock, paper, scissors to see who's right.
I mean, this is it's been a while since we've had a debate like this. I think it's been since concrete in the tower columns. Like,
Oh, yeah, that was interesting.
So Sanchez, any major updates here, Zach?
Not really, actually. So I was kind of just scrolling through here to check around, and there's not really a whole lot going on in Sanchez. They still are working on the road to the side, which is just outside of this image.
Yeah, and it's looking like those transport stands are still pretty much at the same stage as well.
Yeah, I mean they have no reason to work with to do anything with the transport stands yet because they have so many of them. Well, there's a reason for some Starship ones. Speaking of Starship transport stands, why is this one over here?
That was 16's old stand. I don't know why they're not using it right now.
Probably
I have
make us
absolutely no idea.
This almost makes me think that they're like spacing out where stuff would be for the rocket garden, but you don't need a physical object in order to do that. Yeah, lots of work going on down here, never ending. As you guys can see, they're actively doing whatever it is they're doing. But this concrete pad that goes all the way around the edge is getting even more complete. Looks like they're adding some curbs along the oil and gas operations area. And down here, they really have pretty much stopped work on this transport stand. And obviously, they have another one because Booster 5 is dead. So they don't really need this one until Booster 10 is ready. So it makes sense that they're just waiting. You can see the actual clamps themselves are over here. I'm going to get a closer image of that, maybe.
Oh yeah, those are the blocks, I think.
Huge booster clamps right there.
Yeah.
And how many of those are there?
20.
And you can see the pipe stands as well that go underneath the transport stand.
Where?
All stood next to the blocks there. Ones they use to lift up the transport
right.
stand.
When the ship stand has them on there right now, right? Maybe. No, that's the actual stand. Yeah, so the transport stand sits on top of these when it's in the high bay, right? Oh,
Yeah.
also anytime the SPMTs are not underneath it, it sits on top of those. They don't.
What about the side stabilizer pins? Have we seen that for this new?
No, good question actually. I've been looking for that as well. I would assume it would like show up in like some sort of box, but no, I have not seen any stabilizer pins.
And
Yeah.
I forget if in the last iteration of the transport stand did they also include the gaseous hookup for pressurization. I mean, I remember at one point they were
QD?
pressurizing them, and then I heard they were not pressurizing them while traveling. They had that QD
Oh
hooked in.
The QDs. That's a thing of the past.
Yeah, they abandoned that for some
True.
reason. I kind of liked that though.
I know, it was kind of a good idea.
Mhm.
You could transport and test on the same stand
It was all good until they couldn't get the actual QD to disconnect
every time.
every
Like
single time. Pretty bad.
transporting it was like a 4-hour ordeal to get
Yeah.
they were having to beat it off with
Well,
a
that was the
sledgehammer.
Let's get out of this place, guys. There's nothing.
Yeah, we're done there.
Why did
that
they
was the
though?
interesting thing when they rolled B7 back the other day, and they didn't even bother putting the temporary pressurization plate on the B7 the other day when they
Why do
moved
you
it.
say that? When they rolled it?
Yeah, they just put that plate was just put on the SPMTs.
Yeah, I imagine that it probably holds its pressurization pretty well, like during that hour of transport.
Yeah.
But you can see it back behind the building. This is actually interesting. Usually there's two of these back here when B7 and B8 are in there, but right now there's only one. This is
Could we
Go
that
ahead.
trench behind the wide bay? Could that possibly be the start of a more permanent pressurization system for
Probably,
vehicles inside the wide bay?
probably. You can see it's hard to tell where it's going. It looks like it's circling all the way around, actually. Let's see if we can get another view. That was not the good view that I wanted. I don't know if I have that angle right now. Oh, it's right there. Sorry, guys. I could go through these pictures super fast, but I'm trying to go through them slow so I'm not making people throw up while they're watching this.
You're doing a great job today. I was noticing that. Way to go. I feel
Yeah,
better
sometimes
already.
people let us know in the comments that they've thrown up today, so I'm like, all right. Sorry for disorienting you. I'm working on it. So yeah, we can't really see where it ends. I think it just ends right there. Like that's
Yeah, looks like
most of
that
it I
to me.
can see. There's probably some more pictures of the backside, but I have them segregated out with other in a different photo group or something. But yeah, kind of. I mean, it would make sense to have like a permanent pressurization system in there, and even more sense to not have it be actually inside of the building because it just takes up space. Um, with that being said, man, these things are still sitting here. It's bothering me now.
Oh, it takes time. They got to move V7 out, then they can move these in. You give them a minute. It's fine.
I'm curious if those stands we saw are going to fit into these. I guess they're not, though, because these are not for the barrel sections.
Which
Remember
stands are you referring to?
those stands we saw in the flyover and then again in the ground photos? The ones with that don't have the
Those.
platform. They have two platforms, one on top of the other, and then they only
Yeah,
have
those would
places.
be for inside the Star Factory.
Was that the yellow, black, and gray ones?
No, they're all white or gray. They're all one color. And they have side places where, like, the actual platforms are on the side, and you'll see it. We'll get there.
Yeah, and I definitely want to show the booster shielding we just saw a few minutes ago, right before the stream.
Yep.
Yeah, speaking of engine shield, and I did notice there is still a few pieces at the front of the wide bay. So when this flyover was done, they still hadn't quite covered all the engines on B7 again.
GP. Sorry.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, please.
I was about to change the subject because I just I forgot that these stairs are actually up here. Um, we said something last week that that we thought that these stairs over here could be part of like the extensions of these platforms, but it looks like those are actually just the stairs, the real stairs, for the other corner of the building. So
I've just noticed, was it some of those walkways right next to the stairs there on the ground?
yeah. So these right here, are you talking about these?
No, there's an actual assembled, I think, walkways there. There's one right behind the stairs.
Right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all over the place. They've got like I think this is what 8 right here. And then they have 2 more right here, so 10 of them in total plus well, this is what I've been waiting to see actually. This is proof that there'll be more of these platforms actually. This is exactly what they look like
Nice.
before they're assembled. So that's at least 2 of them right there, I think. Could be wrong, but
Yeah, I'd say so.
yeah, that's exciting. I can't wait for them to start putting those in there. I mean, the thing that's holding them up is Booster 7, and let's even look at it from the ground because I don't understand.
That's an interesting point I did raise as well. I think we did actually see more curved pieces for the fronts of these platforms being delivered the other day.
Oh yeah, we
Yeah.
did. We saw, and we were. I wasn't 100% sure when I saw that, but I think you're right.
Yeah.
I love this picture. Unfortunately, this is a vertical image because obviously the wide bay is super tall. So just bear with me as I zoom out here. This is amazing, like, and hilarious at the same time. I'm going to speak for Jack,
Right.
who's not even here. Jax is probably thinking as he's looking at this that why is it in the front? Why is it in the doorway? Like,
It's easier to get to it with
no, they
all the
can't
man
do
lifts.
anything else. Like, you can't move any booster 9 sections in there. I don't think. Well,
It's
maybe
quite
they can
full.
skirt by, but it's like
They have priorities, and their priority is Booster 7 and getting into orbital flight with it.
I just don't get it because it could be over in the right corner, you know?
I mean, how long would it take to cut a nice big hole in the top of the wide bay and lower ring sections through there?
Oh wow. Well, they've done it before. So. Yeah, we have other updates as well for the wide bay while we're here. You guys can see that. Man, this is really hard to even see it. I don't think you can see it from this side actually.
That's
Yeah,
a lot of
if you wanna look at
scaffolding.
Scaffolding jungle for sure.
Yeah, if you want to look at the back of it, that's where the I think they've been installing the nuclear in.
Let's take a look from the back. All right.
Should be, yeah, you can see it all along the top there.
Yeah, it's a little difficult to tell from this image, but you can see that they've got the like it's basically the same thing as all of everything below. It just goes up top, and so the window will probably be about 10 meters tall, going all the way around, and then you have just that upper space that will look very similar to the high bay. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I don't know how everyone else feels, but I'm pretty sad I'm not going to see glass going from the top to the bottom.
yeah, me too. Because that means that there's only going to be one level inside of there,
Yeah,
which it could easily be two if they wanted it. But at the same time, like ideally, you would have done that from the start. Like you would have done it before the roof went on if you were going to make it 2 levels.
yeah.
I really like looking at this because of how much scaffolding is up here. But you guys can see that they're moving on the right side of the building, adding these inner support beams. I don't know what you want to call them, but yeah, they're moving pretty quick.
The Z-Guts.
Yes, Zegers. I think we'll be seeing like as soon as that's finished, we'll probably start seeing glass installed. But the other part of installing glass is that they probably want to have all of the HVAC installed in here. So you don't want to start putting glass inside of this building before the HVAC is installed. And on that note, it's a good time to talk about the Star Factory.
Oh yeah, that place is really starting to come together now.
Yeah, we're not gonna skip over the actual starships and stuff in front of the high bay, but we definitely should talk about this. Um,
I hardly
as you-
recognize that it's so much done.
right? Like, remember for several episodes we were just saying that it looked like they weren't doing anything, and now,
Boom, done.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, we were just wondering, are they ever going to work on this? Did they quit halfway through? No, they gained their strength and finished it up.
yeah, we have. Sorry about that. We have 5 AC units currently installed. There are 4 remaining. It looks like, um, but they're going pretty quick with that. As you guys can see, the roof is almost all the way to the edge.
I think
And
that is actually done now. Done to the edge.
oh, really?
Yep.
Yeah, we saw it today. They've walled in the side.
Yeah.
They were halfway through it this morning, if not further along now.
So this is something we've been looking for a while, right here. This doorway.
So did they wall up that doorway?
No, I don't think so.
Not the doorway per se, but the sides. So before we
Yeah.
had a
So
good view in.
initially, and you guys can even see it right here. There's this column going up through the middle of the doorway, and then you have the 2 additional support beams in the middle of, or to either side of this column, and the same thing on the other side. So I have a feeling that this column will actually disappear soon, because if not, then you won't be able to get ring sections in and out of here. And this would be the only way that they're able to move stuff in between the 2 buildings, because the only other entrance is on the backside.
Oh, wait. Didn't they put in a doorway in the center of the ring yard side too?
Yep. You have doors on both
We
ends now.
should take a look at that. Let's go over to the ground images, actually.
Yeah, they have a header bar right down the center now. Allegedly.
This is the beginning of the end right here. No more seeing inside of the Star Factory until.
I know.
Oh
Yeah,
man,
I was.
you're already paneling it.
Yeah.
Dang.
I was really hoping that we'd see everything moved in there first before they actually started covering it, but looks like we're going to be able to look.
Look in the
Super
top.
annoying.
Look in the top right at that. The guy in the yellow right below that is the header bar, I believe. So
Oh, for the doorway?
yeah.
Yeah.
And then the reinforcement is above it because they took out that center pole,
What is this?
center support.
That's
That's the support.
that is
to reinforce.
magnificent hair. Like to give a shout out to Pantene, our sponsor for today.
Oh,
Oh,
jeez.
wow.
It's Jose Bear, by the way.
Oh man. So
I hope that guy's listening so he can hear how fabulous his hair is.
I guess we have 3 doorways then. We have this one on the backside, front, and then you can see the one on the backside through here, and then there will be another one on the right. Where's the right?
I think he just passed
Yeah,
it.
one on the dome yard end, one on the ring yard end, and then the one on the side facing towards Highway 4.
So I agree with you, but Dave Avery is smarter than both of us, and he disagrees and thinks they're going to close that all in.
Yeah, I mean it's totally a possibility. You know, I mean it could. It doesn't have to be like a doorway that's able to actually fit a ring section through, unless they want to bring things out of either side and have to move it. Sorry, when I say that, I mean through the front entrance, which they're creating here.
I think we'll have to start saying the ring yard side and the dome yard side
Yeah,
to kind of keep
exactly.
track of.
So this would be
which one
the ring yard side. Like this would be how do you exit out of here and then go to one of the other tents. But I don't know. I feel like
I mean, what do we do if they move the dome yard inside the factory?
oh,
You all are going to cry.
retire.
Yeah.
What do we have in this week's flyover? More pictures of the roof.
Pretty much.
Hey, there's a silver lining here. The good news is that as soon as this building is complete, we'll be starting on the next sections. Actually, so we have seen so far that the dome sections from inside of this tent, or I think it's tent 2, the jigs that they use for making these domes, they have been moved into the Star Factory.
So that is the first production hardware manufacturing in the tent, which is a really good sign. It's like, hey, they're getting ready to use this thing.
Yeah, and I tried to find it in the ground images, but it must be super low to the ground. It's like really hard to see. Well, obviously it's low to the ground, but yeah, so this tent is slowly being emptied out, I guess, and moved over to the Star Factory. So I do expect to see them start deconstructing these soon.
That's the interesting one. I would have, I don't know, I would have expected maybe tent 1 to be empty first, and then tent 2. But yeah, it's
Well, they're probably doing both of them at the same
interesting.
time.
I think my favorite crazy wrong theory is that they're just going to build Star Factory on top of Tent 2 and 3 and then deconstruct them. But no, I don't think that's true. That'd be wild.
Yeah.
Hey, you never know. You never know. I mean, oops, wow. How did that happen? This would be where the nose cone section of the Star Factory will be. So, like, once they deconstruct this, they'll build the high part of the building for nose cone construction. And I would have to believe that once that happens,
Tent 3 will.
Iron Hinge over here is gone.
Yeah. Once they build that, I think
ridiculous.
Tent 3 and Iron Hinge will pretty much move into the Star Factory section 1.
Yeah, because the top of this building probably is as tall as Iron Hinges, most likely. So, or the windbreak, whatever you want to call it. There's too many names for everything. It's difficult. But yeah, so once they finish this side of the building, I don't think they'll have a need for that anymore. But this is going to be pretty interesting, especially because if you guys are noticing, obviously that they have so much storage for just Starship parts out here, then obviously the booster parts are in front of the. Well, these are booster parts as well, but like once this space in between the two buildings is under a roof, I think that all of this storage will be inside of the building. So we may not have too many more months of being able to see the new Starship parts unless they continue to store them outside, which I don't think they will.
I was just noticing Star Factory is also a little wider into the ring yard and the dome yard, so they get a little bit more space that way too.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. A lot of space for activities.
Yeah.
Now, one thing,
And
there's a question real fast since we're on the topic. The question is, do you know what equipment they moved into Star Factory from the tent that was taken down? That's from Rocket Man.
We do have that
Yeah,
one picture.
So the first jig that we saw moved in, I think that was for assembling what they call the frustrum section of thrust domes for the ships, and they were for the ship common domes as well.
do we have a picture of
And then
it? Was that Kevin who Chief from
Mhm.
What About It who got that? Maybe we can show that image really quick since we have the question for it.
Yep. If you want to keep talking about it, we can find the photo. Go ahead, Max Q.
just grabbing it for you now.
And while he's doing that, one last thing I wanted to point out is that it looks like
So that first jig was for creating parts.
and we have a picture of it from the Tim Dodd tour as well. Boom, nice. There we go. Gotta love Chief
So
being out
we
there
are
every day.
still looking at the Star
Oops.
Factory.
Yeah, I'm grabbing this one really
Oh,
quick.
sorry. I thought you said boom as in here it is. Sorry. My bad.
You're good. So this is the jig that got moved inside of there, which is made for
The domes.
Whoa, this is the old style domes, though, isn't it?
It sure is.
Yep. For what?
I think that tells us they're going to keep the old style dome for at least one component, or they're just moving it here to make space.
The flat domes are only on the Starship, right? The booster still has normal ones.
Well, so far we haven't actually seen the smooth dome being used on any of the vehicles yet. Well, we got that one smooth dome labeled SN20A.
Yeah, and you guys can see there's two very different size domes. You have these are forward domes, I think, up here. Oh yeah, that's a booster forward dome. I think all three of these are booster forward domes, possibly. But right here, you can see the jig that got moved in there, and those are made for
Cross sections for
Starship aft
the
sections.
ship.
These are for Starship aft sections, then, because that's what this dome is.
Yep. You can see the vacuum mounts on that one, and it matches with the angle of that one.
Yeah, can you see it on here too? Do they have the?
It's about the same angle. You can see that, but
Yeah. So they're going to be making Starship aft domes before anything else in here. It looks like. I'm assuming, like I said, that there's probably more equipment already in here as well too, because obviously they could be in there right now doing that.
So Max, you may know, but do you know all the different kind of domes they're currently manufacturing? Like there's the forward dome, the common dome, and the aft dome, and are there
Thrust
different
dome.
varieties? And then there's the thrust dome. That's right, or the thrust puck.
There's 6 in total,
Yeah,
right?
something like that.
Yeah, plus throw on the new versioning with the flat, the flatter E dome, elliptical domes.
But we haven't actually seen that yet do anything other than sit in the yard.
They built a test tank. They're gonna pressurize it soon and see what happens.
Wait, yeah, we haven't seen any of these sleeved yet, right?
Although we did see something happen today with an E-dome-like dome. Or yesterday.
Interesting.
I think Mauricio actually got pictures, maybe? I'm not sure.
Yeah, didn't they put an E-dome in like a booster barrel section or something?
In the, yeah.
Interesting.
Made
I didn't know that.
very unhappy.
I'm trying to.
And Jax too.
Here we go. That's what I'm looking for. Yeah. So wait. So you're saying they have sleeved one of these then, other than the E-dome?
They did, but it was an E-dome-like structure, not one of these.
So one of the things that I wanted to point out, and I don't know if we talked about this last episode or if it was during the show and tell the other day. By the way, if you guys are Patreon members, I think YouTube members as well too. But if you're on the RGB Discord server, then you guys are able to come in and view the show and tells when these images actually come out. So ground images are usually almost always taken on Friday. So Friday nights we'll do a show and tell displaying the new ground images. And whenever the flyovers are, you guys are able to come in there and get the early access to those images as well. And well, you can also view them in raw format because that's how Mauricio stores them. Mm-hmm. Versus me, I got the the ghetto JPEGs.
Hey, sir, my family was raised on JPEGs. We're proud. I'll take what I can get.
Even the JPEGs, they're huge files. They're like 40, 50 megabytes.
They're like 100 megabytes, right?
They are the best. Sorry.
The raw images, it's like if it's 15 gigabytes for the 420 some images that I uploaded, I think I might have filled up maybe about 150 to 180 gigabytes of just the raw images, just to give you a perspective of how big these files are.
How many external hard drives do you have?
I'm on for SpaceX, I'm on my 8th terabyte, but I have other ones stored away, so it's probably in total, probably about 10 terabytes.
Wow.
For SpaceX.
Wow. Yeah, yeah, my storage for all this stuff is getting pretty insane. I don't think I reached a terabyte though,
So for
unless you count all the
432,
video.
sorry, for 432 ground images, it is 15.4 gigabytes of data. Dun, 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 dun.
And that's in JPEG, so it's resized to
Yes.
JPEG format. The raw image is way crazy. But anyways, moving on. I think
Did we,
Jax dropped somebody dropped a labeled image here.
Oh, and speaking of Jax, I think we have a few donations in there as well.
We do. We do. We have quite a few donations. Well, the first one comes from Sharpie for $10. Thank you, Sharpie. Then we have another $10 from Techno Dino, who says if you haven't already hit the like button, go hit it now. And if you're
Yeah,
able,
do that.
and if you're able, become a member to get access to these great pictures in original resolution, which is true. The JPEGs are amazing. Eventually,
I recognize.
go on.
I recognize that name.
You sure
Techno
do.
Dino.
You sure do. And then another 10 pounds, 10 euros from Jacqueline, who says, well, she was a little late today, but that's okay. She doesn't owe us a penalty. She's just very generous.
Oh, there's a penalty.
Oh.
Everybody who's late. Follow Jacqueline's example. Just kidding. Appreciate you, Jacqueline. Yeah, I'm glad all of you are able to stay here with us for 3 hours when we do these shows. And then, sometimes there's not as much going on, but I feel like this week in particular, there's a ton going on at Starbase. So apologize if we're like going all over the place, just skipping through everything because there is a lot. So hopefully you guys are enjoying the episode. And as Indy said, if you haven't hit the like button, do so for us now. That definitely helps us out a lot. We're almost to, well, we're not almost to 420, but we're getting close. But on that note, I don't know if we talked about this last episode or if it was during the show and tell, as I said before, but you guys can see the new downcomer / transfer tube for the booster, which this goes inside of the header tank. And if you guys have seen the old version of this, which I don't currently have an image of, there was nowhere near this many ribs on it. This is like, it looks like a massive, like,
Screw.
Yeah, exactly. I was thinking of other things, but thank you for that. The you guys can see that there's like 3 or 4 times more ribs on here. So that is in relation to the collapse of the downcomer on booster 7. And it appears that they've now upgraded those. I'm actually curious to know if they did the same thing on booster 7, like if they went and installed all of these, but I don't remember seeing all of those parts actually go into the wide bay. So or wait, that was in the high bay actually when they did that. I don't remember seeing any parts for that.
And that's also the other interesting thing about this new downcomer section is the fact that it's longer than previous sections.
So the previous one probably went to the top of the downcomer and then stopped, versus this one going all the way through the downcomer, I'm guessing, and then they have to weld it up top. I don't know if we have a good image of that aft section. Maybe we can show one. But yeah, if it is longer, that would kind of make sense that this is actually penetrating straight through the header tank instead of just stopping right at the top of it. But yeah, every time an incident happens, SpaceX makes an adjustment, and that is also true here.
Or they could just be trying to make it look more and more like a lightsaber with each revision.
Seriously. Wow, yeah, now that you say that.
That is Luke's straight up.
Whoa.
Why, whoa?
That is Luke's lightsaber.
Right?
Where'd it go? Sure is.
The fact that we both know not only what a lightsaber looks like, but particularly Luke's. Super nerds.
For sure. But moving on, like I said, they repair pretty much or fix every issue that they have. Obviously, in my opinion, this one with that downcomer collapse was kind of like a procedural thing. like they just did something in the wrong order. But now with that upgraded transfer tube, they should be able to push it even further, like they did during that test, in order to make sure that they are able to accomplish what they're trying to do. And I feel like it's just related to how quickly they want to drain the methane tank, which I don't know. I guess I'm not going to go too deep into. But yeah, still interesting either way. But moving on, we have
There's a question for Max.
yeah.
The question is from Senti, and Senti is asking, is the upper and lower transfer tubes connected, or is there an upper transfer tube still needed attached? That still needs to be attached.
Oh yeah, that's what we see in this photo here. That's not the full downcomer. If that's what you're trying to ask, there is still
Is this
more
it
that
right
gets
here?
attached to the top of it.
This is the rest of it, right?
Yeah, that should be it probably.
Hold on, let's check it with the other one. Oh, I'd say that's it right there. There you go, Cinti. This is the remaining downcomer, and I don't know if it is actually two pieces or if this is no. It's got to be it's got to be two pieces. That LOX tank is pretty large.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's the rest of it right there, which is pretty awesome.
So the silver one and the gray one are going to be attached to one another?
Yeah, they're both the same. They just look, because of the way the lighting is right now, they look different, but they're both the same. So yeah, that was a really good question. Is this a QD?
It looks like it. The faceplate, right?
That is what you think it is. Yeah.
Huh.
Looks like the backside of the QD, no less, of the faceplate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's another one, right? There's another one up here.
Yeah, there's a ship QD hanging around in that vicinity where you are now. It might be a bit further down.
Let me.
It's about. No, I think it's where all the booster parts are. I think mixed in there somewhere.
He's an ace.
What is that?
It's funny. I was looking at the thing with it looks like a checkerboard, the circular thing that looks like a shield almost with pieces missing.
This?
Yeah.
That is a cap, right? This is a cap
That's
from a common dome.
yeah, dome cap that they've for some reason. Well, I don't know why they've cut it in that particular pattern.
That's so they
The
can
pieces
fit
you're
4
asking.
more pipes.
Just to throw everybody off. Hold on, let's get another.
Those pieces you were asking about just now on the two pieces on the pallet up a bit.
This?
Those should be manifolds for the RVACs, I think. If you look at the ends of them, they've got a bit of a slanted edge end to them where they
Right.
interface with the
That
dome.
makes sense. Man, it's pretty impressive how large all the piping is for these engines. Actually, I do not see. Hold on, I just got a good image from Cham, who gave us a good idea of what this downcomer looks like. Okay, there we go. So this is the bottom of the booster, and you guys can see that the original downcomer stopped at the top, and the new one, without all the fancy ribs on it, now goes up past the top of the dome. So I feel like that. Okay, so when the actual downcomer collapsed, this pipe right here actually, like along, I think it was like this side of it, and I'm just guessing. Well, it's really hard to tell based on the orientation, but for the sake of the example, this side right here actually peeled off. So when it actually collapsed, it collapsed inwards. It I don't think imploded is the right word, but essentially imploded.
Accordioned.
Yeah, it just sucked itself in, and then when it sucked itself flat, it ripped away from the actual surface of the dome right here.
Mm-hmm.
So, if that happened during an actual flight, you would have instantly combined the entire methane tank with the oxygen tank.
You would have instantly
Instantly.
exploded.
Mm,
Not necessarily.
So-
What?
but
not
soon.
necessarily.
Are you kidding me?
It would be. I don't know what would happen, but
Basically, you'd have a pre-mixed propellant.
yeah, once that hits the Raptors, I'm sure everything would get screwed because they're not ready for that mixture. It would be, well, no, there would be possibly no more methane left in the upper tank at that point. So, yeah, that would be catastrophic. But yeah, so by having the downcomer penetrate all the way through there, if for some reason it were to collapse again, ideally that seal would still be maintained. So theoretically, like with how collapsed that downcomer was, if the actual welds all the way up top were still intact, theoretically it still could have functioned. You know what I mean? But not with this design. So by switching over to something like this that penetrates all the way through, you're stopping that possibility of having have it actually separate from here.
So Zach, while you have this design up, just remind me, the bottom section of the booster holds oxygen, but that methane downcomer and that central tank right there, those both hold methane, right? Does that tank there hold methane?
No, the tank holds LOX, the big one.
Oh, that's the header tank to feed LOX to the engines during a boost back, and the methane downcomer is effectively the header tank.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, yeah, with how large it is, I guess. That's interesting.
Yeah, and I know they're going to use more than just the header tanks for the landing burn, but for the 30-second 3-engine burn that they have scheduled from the flight plan, I figured that it was about 58 metric tons of propellant, oxygen, and methane that are burned in that section. So
wow.
Yeah, just for the 3 engines, just for that leg.
That's insane. Yeah, ton of fuel being burnt up.
Yeah.
This really thanks. Shout out to Cam for that one. It's really nice having renders to go with some of the stuff that we're talking about. Makes things easier for you guys as well too. So hopefully you guys appreciate that. And thank you for Indy for uploading that for us so we could show it.
That would be all, Nick. Mr. Chameleon's, sorry, Mr. Chameleon Circuit. I'm sorry, Chameleon Circuit on Twitter.
Okay. Yeah, if we can maybe throw his. Go ahead.
Carry on.
Oh no, I was gonna say we can throw his link to his Twitter in the chat if we have it. But go ahead, Max Q.
I've noticed there's still one thing missing from the dome yard there. And that one thing is a false grid fin.
This is Max Q's mission, mind you. He has been noticing the lack of that one grid fin for like weeks now. It's so funny.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, every time there's a new low flyover photos, I always look for that false grid fin, and
so we have
nothing.
1, 2. Maybe it's inside the tent or under one of these domes.
It's possible. Well, yeah, in the tent.
It's hiding under a dome. That's too funny.
I mean, this one hasn't moved in a while, right?
Is it true? Are we playing 3-card Monty now?
I feel like I see it. I feel like I see it in here.
Oh, but
Does anybody else see that grid fin?
Rohan brings up a good point because Elon did say he wants to get rid of some of those grid fins, so maybe there is only supposed to be 3.
That better not be what it is.
No.
Absolutely not.
Tell us how you really feel, Zach.
I hate that. Oh my god! Like I can't even imagine.
I was thinking about that, but I didn't want to say it.
No.
Now you know they're going to do it just because you're so adamant against it.
We're not doing that today. Absolutely not. I feel like we would have seen it on one of the booster common domes by now, or the forward domes right now, right? We had B10 forward dome get sleeved the other day. Or am I tripping?
Which
yeah,
other
we
day?
Might be tripping.
did see it being sleeved.
Both could be true.
That's the
I say,
that's the
why
worst
stop
bit
at
about these the
why
three
stop
grid
at
fins. It's supposed to be two big grid fins and one small one.
Well,
why stop at 3? Why not go down to 2, then
look,
1?
if we ever
wants to.
cancel a show, it's because
Ooh.
they switched to 3 grid fins, and
Really?
we had to take a week off to get our minds around it. So if you guys see a picture come out with a booster forward section with only 3 outlets for grid fins, then don't expect a show that week. So
That's our sign we need a vacation.
yeah, for
What
sure.
happens if there are only 3 holes before we see the 3 grid fins? Will we have to take that week off as well?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I think
wow.
so.
Yeah.
I'll be here. Don't worry.
Well, you'll be running the stream alone.
Oh, you mean like always? Oh, just kidding.
Oh.
So the continuing on, sorry guys, the this right here I think is one of the new jigs for like the flatter the stretch form domes, right? So this one,
Yeah, that was outside doing the last flyover, but yeah, that is still
Mhm.
pretty new.
So
And
that's the jig.
casters?
Sorry, say
What
again.
was that?
Oh, I was asking if it's sitting on top of casters.
Kind of looks
does
like it is.
kind of, yeah.
Kind of,
Maybe that's just so they can wheel it around pretty easily.
yeah. And you know, sometimes we like to go through all this stuff before the show and come up with our own theories about things, but I also think it's fun to like discover things live on the show. So don't mind us while we do that. Sometimes we're trying to figure stuff out. Other times we already have things that we want to talk about. But you know, this whole area is a mystery. There's a lot of weird stuff happening here.
And I think even if we do plan things out, you particularly are really good about finding things as we go through it. So there's always going to be a level of that.
Terrible ADD, so
No,
that's
it's
the problem.
fabulous, actually.
Oh, we got some. You guys already know what we're looking for over here. Some. Actually, I'm not going to say what we're looking for. I'll see if somebody knows in the chat what we're looking for over here.
Uh-oh, challenge chat.
I'll wait. Tons of storage of steel parts, though. What?
There's not a
Those
piece of something
cutouts?
with just a lot of
Yeah,
there's
look
a
at
lot of
that.
hole punches.
That's the intake manifold.
Oh, look at that. We got more of those. That looks different. The panels for the covers on the. Did I just ruin it?
I believe you did.
Not Tom B said OLM stuff. Yes.
Winner,
There we
winner,
go.
chicken dinner.
Thank you, not Tom B. Who are you?
He's not
Just
Tom
kidding.
B.
So continuing on, there's some more things outside of this gate which have been sitting here for like weeks that I keep checking in on, but I'd never see anything change with it. There's these random boxes which I know have something important in it. I just don't know what they are. Oh, you know what? Mauricio, any chance you have a ground image of this? Probably not, right? Like that'd be weird.
Why would it be weird?
Because why would he take pictures of random boxes?
Hello. Have you seen the things that he captures? He captures
Fair enough.
everything.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah. Well, one day we'll get a picture of that and we'll see if it has any labels on it. But for now, I think oh, wow. We should go back to the ring yard because we didn't really cover that.
And we have labels too.
Yes, we do have labels to support. Outside of the ring yard, and sorry guys if I'm going kind of fast because I want to spend some time on ground images today. So we're going through a lot of the aerials rather quickly. But yeah, going back to the ring yard, you guys can see that the SPMTs are sitting there waiting. This is what my skis look like when I'm standing there just waiting to go down the slope.
Right?
Yeah. Everybody makes fun of my feet because they're like, anyways.
Wait,
So
does that mean you're bow-legged?
why you walk like that? So you guys can see that they got the SPMTs sitting here waiting to take Booster 7 out of the wide bay, and there's no room for anything else to happen here until that booster gets out. However, they were able to get this brand new SpaceX crane in there, and that's a, as you guys can see, it's like the TGM Wind Services aerial work platform.
Is it a crane or is it a man lift?
Well, personnel carrier.
Sorry,
The
yes, personnel carrier.
aerial work platform.
they, yeah,
Cherry picker?
this is the new one though, right?
It's the Heitner 3000.
Heitner 3000. Yeah, ideally they won't have to use these too much. Whoa.
Door.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing. Is that a door?
Nice. Never seen that before.
Wait till the OLM, speaking of doors.
What was that?
I said, wait till you get to the OLM, speaking of doors.
Yeah, right. I do want to get us there, but we're gonna slowly work our way there. Unfortunately, with Booster 7 sitting there, it's really hard to see anything else in there. But we do have, I believe, a little diagram from
You see it? From Cam.
From Cam as well,
Mm-hmm.
and I will switch over to that.
Cam is also known as Nick, in case anyone is wondering or see them in chat.
So this is the Mega Bay from the bottom. And you guys can see that this is the entrance down here. This is Booster 7. Interesting. I'm just noticing like how much space those stabilization pins take up. So yeah, you can see Booster 9 is in the front right or front left corner, and then Booster 7 is like directly behind Booster 8 is directly behind Booster 7. Very interesting that they're in this configuration, honestly. Like I'm surprised that Booster 8 is not in the back corner or either one of them, honestly, being in one of the corners so that they can actually move stuff in and out. But yeah, clearly that engine install is the priority right now, so that's why they're in that configuration. Going back, so we talked about these platforms already, right? And the stairs, which are going to go in the front right corner. So, are the stairs still on the backside? Here's a good question.
Did we point out all the booster aero covers there for 8?
Yep. Wow. Okay. So 3 sets of stairs over here. 4.
Yeah, Starbase is advancing nicely.
Did you just say Starbase?
That's what I heard.
Yeah.
Okay. Starbase. So let me go back to the front side. Yeah. So they got 2 additional sets under construction out here, and obviously we mentioned they got a ton more waiting to go.
Can somebody make that a shirt for me? I need that in my life.
Starbase, straight up. Yeah, I like that. So Grandpa Joe was asking about all of the booster parts sitting outside the front. So let's go back to this image, actually. Nah.
Yeah. Stay on that image because there is actually still shielding out the front of the wide bay. It's basically tucked right up against the front of it.
This? Oh.
And that's likely going to be B7s. Yeah. See it all?
Oh, we're thinking those are B7s, not B8s?
Yeah, okay. B8s is down the side of the wide bay.
About an hour ago, I was talking about how there wasn't another pressurization trailer. And it looks like the one for Booster 7 is actually in the front of the wide bay right now. It's sitting right here. This is for nose cones, right?
No, that's just for just lifting ring sections in general.
Did we have a stack happen in the last few days since this flyover? No?
Nope.
No.
Well, yeah, because I can't really move anything anyways. So, yeah, as you guys can see, we have that booster transport stand sitting out here waiting to go.
But it was
Once,
used for B9. Sorry for interrupting.
yeah, this is for 9. Yeah.
What do you mean the load spreader?
Yeah.
No,
To the
both of them.
left.
Yeah, both of them are for both the transport stand and the spreader are for 9.
Makes sense.
This is the first ever transport stand to get reused, or will be. Why do I feel like there's a sign on here?
This kind of look like it.
Yo, ADD is real. Anyways, so moving on to the other parts of the ring yard, we still have all these ring sections sitting out here. Let me see. I may need to go to a better. There we go. Nah, we'll do that one. So you guys can see Starship 26's nose cone sitting in here, and
Right now, that's all.
stacked.
That's 25.
Isn't that what I said?
26.
What? I said 26?
Yeah.
Dang. All right.
It's all good.
25. 25 sitting inside of the high bay waiting to, or actually, this was before it got stacked on the barrel section. I believe it's now on top of the barrel section. Could be wrong. But nobody corrected me on that one, so we're going to go with it.
Yeah, I think you're all right.
I think you're right, Zach.
Yeah, we're good. Still wondering what all this random steel is out here. We're going to keep an eye on that next week, and it hasn't moved yet. But yeah, we have tons of booster sections sitting out here. What was that? Okay.
Maxie may be having some
I
internet
just
issues.
noticed
there he goes.
up in the
Little connectivity issues there, Max.
No, he's still figuring it out. What are
in
you
the top
pointing at?
right of this photo. You can
Don't stop talking,
What are you
Max. You
seeing?
just keep talking.
next to the SPMT there's those would be the aft flap aero covers for Ship 25, and they've actually installed 2 of those now, I think.
Interesting. So these are already installed now?
Yeah, the ones you can see right now in this picture, they're likely installed as well.
And we have it labeled on that image that was given to us too. I think you had it queued up already.
Yeah, I do have that.
Whenever, no rush.
Let me scroll over to that. So we have booster 9s, lock sections, all out there. Random plane quad. There's no methane tank sections out here. I think there's still a few methane sections left before they finish off that forward section, right? Interesting. Okay, so we have B7.1 in here. We have Ship 22's leg skirt, 6.1 inches, huh?
No, it's also goes by the 6.1 test tank configuration name.
Oh,
So that leg skirt is what they used to have the can crusher cap sitting on when it was over at Sanchez.
Gotcha. Well, we also
I
go ahead.
I don't really know what's going on in the mid bay at the moment. Looks like we may have some funny new test tank in our hands soon.
Were you hoping that they would stack that one on top of the other one? The 6.1.
Yeah, that's the likely outcome of that.
Yeah, we have. Oh, so this one would go on top. Does this have the stage separation clamps on there?
No.
It's gonna be kind of tough to stack them.
Isn't this a mongrel as well?
This one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's so obviously B7.1 has got the booster forward dome stacked on top of a booster aft dome. And obviously we saw that being tested on the can crusher.
Mm-hmm.
And we did see a bit of buckling at the top of it. And then they brought it back to the build site, back to where we see it now. And they've been using some sort of jig on top of it, I think, to straighten it all out again. And they've installed a lot of new valves on top of it. And they've added a lot of new external stringer extensions on the top as well.
So I'm guessing we have a ground picture of this as well, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe this is it. Let me switch.
This
And by
all
the
makes
way-
me think that the test group does not have the same budget as the production group.
Is this it?
Yeah, that's it.
I'm going to find another angle of this, but while I do that, well, actually, I'm not going to find another angle until we get ourselves up to 420 likes, because I think we're at 394 right now, and we got about 600 people in here, so I think we can get ourselves up there. If you guys are able to get past the arthritis in your thumb and hit that like button, we would definitely appreciate you.
Look here,
wow.
sir. As an arthritic American, I take offense.
Whatever. He's telling you to get past your differently abled body and do it.
Yeah, you may have a. Did you like it? Did you like the string?
I did.
Yeah. So see, you did it. It works, even with arthritis.
Hey, everybody, hit that like button. You'll feel like you accomplished something today.
If nothing
this-
else, you would have accomplished that.
I don't see any pictures inside the mid bay other than this one right here, unless I'm tripping.
Don't say it, GPJ.
Oh, what's that?
That's it.
Is that it?
Looks like it. You see the double
Okay.
stringers at the top, though? Those little half ones on the right?
These?
Lower. Lower. Right there. Right there. Go up. Uppity, uppity. There.
Yeah,
you
there.
go.
These?
Yes, sir.
Oh, wow. Okay, so these, I guess, broke. They,
Broke?
well,
Why not just more fortification?
what was wrong with them before? I mean, was there,
Nothing.
didn't they have some buckling in this area during the last Can Crusher test?
Could be. Yes.
So you're saying that these are new?
I'm saying that those are new for fortification, yes.
Interesting.
Newer.
Well, thank you for enlightening me, because I had no idea. As you guys can tell, I only focus on stage 0, and I'm not worried that Spoiled Sport is going to be mad that I said that. So
It's kind of interesting. Some of them look like they get taller as they go around, and some are a little shorter.
Agreed.
yeah, it's weird. Like, it's like a wave.
Yeah.
And some are squared off and some are not.
Maybe they're just going to test to see which one breaks first.
Or maybe
Ooh.
they all are. It just looks like
Look at that. Like they're all, none of them are the same.
Yeah.
In this area.
It kind of looks cool.
It looks way cool. I wish they'd
Nah.
colorize them. That'd be even better.
All of this makes me wonder, how much are they still saving in terms of cost and weight to have moved from carbon fiber? Because now it's like internal and external stringers all the way up.
Whoa.
But I mean, that just leads you to
I
believe
was looking for this earlier.
might go for a thicker steel.
What the heck? How'd you get this image?
He's
Mauricio.
very clever, Mauricio.
He walked all the way around, man.
This is the front
That's
side,
over.
right?
That's over at the mudflats, looking
goodness.
south.
GB, he even took all these photos with you in mind. He told us that last night.
You were thinking of me?
He was.
What is this at the top?
Same thing we saw
We talked
earlier.
about
It's
this?
a reinforcement because they
But I
took out
thought-
that structure. That's
thought
for
this
the
was-
door.
Well, that's the header. And
Yeah, this right here is for the door. That's behind
That's
the door.
for the. Remember, they took out the pole that went straight down. That was a support structure. That would be for the adding the support because they took out the support pole that was there.
I thought that that's what this is.
That doesn't go all the way down though,
Yeah, I mean, it used to.
and
Or
they're
it-
going to remove it once they get that brown thing in.
But behind this is
Yeah.
a.
It's the same structure. It's holding up the
Wait,
same
look at
area.
that. This is a garage
Yeah,
door,
that's connected into the.
It's a garage door.
So,
right?
yeah, I'm seeing it as well.
That's a big
definitely
garage door
connected to the
opener.
back of that.
Huh. Oh, we probably have an image of this from the. I wonder if we could see all the way through the tent. Probably not. No, I don't think we can. It's okay. We're gonna call it a garage door opener for now until we figure out what it really is. But we probably never see it again once they close up the tent or the Star Factory walls. Wow. Okay, we have a bunch of cool images here, and obviously, you guys can probably tell I haven't had a chance to go through these yet because there's 400 of them, and so we get to go through them live with you guys here for the first time. This is the dome yard side of the Star Factory, looking through. You can't. Where is it? Oh, it's way over there, huh?
Just
yeah.
out of shot.
Yeah, that's it.
Not gonna give up. I think we got one. No, we don't. I can tell.
You
That's
had one because
okay.
you showed it earlier.
The backside?
The part with the brown piece on it, and the
This is the front,
front piece
right
on
here. Maybe we can see it better from the front, like from this angle. Let's see. Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, it's hard to tell, but I feel like there's motors inside of here, inside of those two areas for a door. But um, we can move on from that. I'm gonna have to go ahead and search that on my own. And wow, we shot way past 420 likes. So thank you guys for doing that. We appreciate all of you. Um, means a lot having all of you here every week, as we always say, because we definitely mean it, especially on Saturdays when we want to be outside enjoying the nice weather. Uh, glad that you guys are here, making it worth it for us to take this time on Saturday. So thank you guys, and also thank you to everybody who has donated so far, because as we always mention over the last 2 weeks, now that we have the new camera, we are also upgrading the our storage capability because we're quickly running out of storage. I have 38 gigabytes left on my computer, which is I feel I'm surprised my computer's not freaking out. Honestly, like I feel like once you start maxing out like that, like I've had that happen before. Your computer starts like struggling to like access its own storage. But anyways, so
But along those lines, before you go too far, we do have some donations that we want to thank. Ian Luckett donated £5. He said, ultra late penalty, first time here after Astro Joe sent him the link. Thank you, Astro Joe, for sharing the news. And then Rocket Profit with $10 for this week's photos, and Peanut for $10. He writes, train time, choo choo. So that's everybody. Oh, Yazada came in with $10. Zach keeps boggling my mind. Zach, you've got Yazada on his ears.
my mind's getting
I got
boggled.
500 likes.
Wow, you guys are awesome. That was quick. Thank you guys for doing that. We appreciate you a ton. Did we have more, or
Nope,
was I
you
good to
got
go?
him. That was all of them for
Okay,
now.
cool. Well, last thing I would want to mention before we move on, because I really want to get to the ground pictures. We have. Oh wow, I'm not even close to being able to get to the ground pictures. I'm gonna skip over this stuff. Let's go to the BFC shed really quick, or I guess I just call this Boca Chica Village essentially. So okay, cool. Yeah, so they are working on this driveway as you guys. It was just like not loading. You can see that they're working on this driveway right here. They are still trying to bring power into the building. So until they do that, they're going to have those generators outside, but they're ready to go once they do have power running there. And it looks like it's coming in from two sides. But yeah, other than that, there's not much happening in this area. You got your typical crate and storage lot. Um, I think these right here are parts they hope they never have to use for Marvin, because that's uh, extending Marvin beyond its current state would probably be in the result of an emergency of something else happening. So hopefully they never have to use those. But yeah, continuing on, I just want to get through this area quickly, but I also have to check through here and do our due diligence.
Marvin's currently tall enough to lift Starship on top of the booster, right?
No,
Oh, nowhere near it.
nowhere near. And honestly, those extensions aren't enough to do it either, truthfully. So
Interesting.
No.
yeah. But sorry, I'm just wondering what these are. But let's continue on. I think it's time for us to go to the launch site.
Launch site.
So let's do it.
And,
Starting off.
Oh, we had some questions saved up too from the launch site.
Let's do it.
I'll give Indian Star a minute to get prepared if she still has those queued up. I know we overwhelm everybody with questions, but
But there aren't any specific per se for the launch site yet. Most of them have to do with the OLM.
Nice.
Gotcha. So right here, we're looking at them expanding towards Launchpad, suborbital Launchpad C, or it's not even a launch pad. It is just a testing station for boosters. Who knows?
Yeah. And you guys can see that similar to what's happening over near the launch site, or sorry, the orbital launch pad. They're clearing out a new area, and it looks like they finally started adding dirt in here. I can tell. Initially, it all kind of looked like rough like this, like they just removed the surface. But this looks like new dirt actually here. And then on this side, they are continuing to add even more dirt. You can see that. I wonder if we can show this from the ground somehow. Probably not. Maybe we do have an image. But last week we talked about when they put these little barriers up that they were going to be filling in the area in between it. And that's what you can see here. You can almost see the slope right here at the bottom, but you can tell that like right here and like towards the edge or the end, that the dirt is like below the top, but as you move along it, the dirt appears to be all the way up towards the top of that barrier. So this is probably built up a good, I don't know, 3 to 5 feet, something around that area. And I imagine they'll probably continue that out shortly once they're done with this. But yeah, to me, that's a precursor for more concrete at some point. Plus, obviously, like we said, that suborbital pad. Go ahead.
And color me silly here, but where are the pipes for transporting the fluid over to it? Have they already been buried or?
No.
Nothing yet.
Okay, thought I'd missed. I was like, where's the methane and oxygen and nitrogen coming from?
Yeah, it would just extend off of this right here. Ideally.
Yeah, they could just tap in. They're only testing one at a time right now anyway.
Yeah, I mean, the reason I paused right there is I have a feeling that the suborbital stand at some point will need to be upgraded. So if we like look at it from a few different angles, I like this one. So looking at it from a few different angles, I don't know. In my opinion, everything out here is kind of outdated in a way. Obviously, it still functions, but I would not be surprised if they wanted to like expand their capabilities out here, because if they added an additional test stand, then I would expect concurrent testing to start happening at some point. So there is just enough room for one more tank to fit here. And honestly, if they move this tank out of the way, they could even possibly fit it right here. They could fit both of the 2 large tanks that are at the Sanchez site right here. But I don't think that's what those tanks are for. So might not actually see that happen. But
third long shot option, they build a completely separate orbital tank farm and start hooking that one up as well. So that was in the original plans and still might be an option on the table down the road. Though there has been a lot of word that they may or may not want to move forward with additional expansions down here. So we'll see how that flies.
Yeah. Man, these images, like I said, are super clear. Like I've always trying to like zoom in on this area to actually see what's down here, and this is the first time I'm able to actually like get a good view of a lot of this. So again, if you guys have access to these images, definitely go through them yourselves because it's pretty cool.
Zoom in. See if you can read a label on one of those cardboard boxes. Let's see how far we can go.
Yeah, these are, man, like I said, this is literally the best I've ever seen this. And especially the tank farm, actually. If we go over to the tank farm, since there's some new stuff over there as well, we might as well swap over. Yeah, these images of the tank farm are absolutely amazing. So you guys can see that LOX pump number 4 was there, I believe, and then they switched it over to
Is
3.
that methane?
Wow,
That's
methane pump.
methane.
Thank you. They swapped the position of those methane pumps, and I think there's another one.
Right there to
Well,
the
there's the
bottom right.
motor.
Wait, what? Oh, here, yeah, here's the motor for the number 4, I think. Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
motor for number 4 sitting right here, but I don't see the actual pump itself. No, it's not there. Oh wow. Sorry. So yeah, they switched that one pump out. And right now they're also running a ton of electrical lines for that third pump. You can kind of see the rail down here. They had to add in more electrical lines for those pumps. So like even though number 4 was here, I don't think they were ever actually using it because I don't think they had power there, but could be wrong. And they're also, oh, interesting. So let me go back to that one. This right here is the pump that they use to fill the water tanks. So when the water tankers show up to offload, they pull up to this and they connect to it, and it pumps the water into these 2 water tanks. Usually that was like over on the left side because the water tank was in the back, but now that they've moved it, they're filling up from this side. And let's go from the back side. Let's see. So we still have all this work happening on the water tank, and I don't know if you guys can really tell here, but there's even more scaffolding in there now than there was before. It is insane. The amount of scaffolding in there is pretty intense. You can't really see it from some angles. Let me see if I can get a. Ooh, look at that. Yeah, you can see it now. There's at least 3 levels of scaffolding in there. So whatever is wrong with that water tank, they're still working on it, and it does not appear to be gonna get, like, I don't think it's gonna get fixed anytime soon. I never actually see anybody on here working. It's definitely not a priority, I would say.
But then you think they're doing it at night?
It's a possibility.
No.
No, I mean, maybe it's already dark enough in there as it is. I don't think it would make any difference doing it at night, but yeah,
If anybody from SpaceX is listening, if you could just write "Hi RGV" on the top of one of those, appreciate it.
One
Mauricio does get them waving at him, the workers.
Nice.
So on the lock side of the farm, they've obviously connected. They added in the additional like expansions that they needed on the the actual pipes. Okay, I guess there's a Lamborghini doing its thing outside. So the you can see that they've added a bunch of valves, or not a bunch, just one valve onto this new one, which is much different than the other ones, and still trying to figure out why that is. I think it's possibly to do with like just differential flow in between. What was that?
Yeah, they actually were moving things around there earlier today. They were taking pumps out and moving motors around, and
On the lock side?
yeah.
See, this is what happens when I hang out with you guys. I miss all this stuff.
No,
So
I thought it was the methane side.
No, it was over the unlock. So he took the pump out from 3 and put it underneath 4, and
They took out the
yeah,
lining
they've been.
because then they put the
catching
thing
up
back
to you
in
after
after
the
they
show's
wrapped
over.
it when they were taking it out.
Huh. Well, yeah, I'm gonna have to take a look at that once the show's over. There's not a whole bunch else happening inside of the tank farm other than the fact that we have this berm, which is now on the backside. And it's not a berm; it's like just a retaining wall similar to the one on the front, except this one is entirely made out of concrete instead of CMU concrete masonry units. So the it's just
the
additional
blast wall,
protection.
really, isn't it?
Yeah, essentially. And to some degree, I'm not 100% sure if that's its entire purpose. You guys can see this little, what do you want to call it? Like a little bag of,
The
what are they called?
HESCO, something it's called.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's filled with dirt, and it looks like it's stopping. So if you were to have like a test tank explode or something like that, and you wouldn't want your liquid nitrogen going through this area, so it looks like it's to block that off. This is actually a good view from the front. But yeah, just more additional protection for any possible explosions that can happen, or spilling fluid, I suppose. But yeah, that's one of the more recent concrete jobs at the launch site. I think they still have to finish off this little edge and probably the backside of the berm if they're going to do that. But continuing on, I guess that brings us back to the launch site where we are just about ready to swap over to those ground pictures. Let me
and,
images.
and some
Yeah.
those ground photos are pretty nice.
Yeah, this
You
right
definitely
here.
have to use the ones from the mud flats. Mauricio went all the way out there for us. So.
Yeah, we're gonna spend a good 40 minutes going through those. I just want to show a few last things. This is one of the first times ever that we've seen the clamps retracted into the launch mount. Like usually they're always out. So this is a rare time. And I have a feeling they're actually doing work on the they were doing work on the QDs inside of here, but I'm not 100% sure about that. And they are also deployed again. So this was a temporary thing that they did. But that always means that there's always a reason for it. And if you guys joined us late to the show, number one, welcome. Number two, shame on you. Number three, we covered earlier that there's now a pipe going from the top of the launch mount and down over into this area over here, which is a little pit, like a boil off pit almost. So like if you have liquid oxygen from the Raptors, ideally most of it will be gas coming out of here, but in order to capture anything that might be liquid, they have this little, man, this is almost like a cryo retention pond, literally. I don't think this is what they had in mind, but that's what it is. Makes me sad. But I think it's good time for us to swap over to the ground images. There's not a whole lot that we can see more from the sky right now, so I'm going to go ahead and swap us over. While I do that, do we have any more questions that I haven't addressed yet?
Oh, we have questions and we have donations. Paw Angel was able to donate $10 and says, "Never fails. Doorbell rings and someone starts a train." And then Rocket Prophet, with his membership of 8 months, he's an RGV flight supporter, says, "This by far is the best episode yet. Thanks, Rocket Prophet." And then questions are still about the OLM.
Perfect. Wait, are you going to tell us?
Oh, I didn't think you wanted to know the OLM stuff just yet. Sorry.
We're on the OLN. Let's do it.
All right. So there's a question that says from Wayne Metcalf, how would they get those pipes to the center engines? So when we were talking about the bleed lines and everything like that, because we're looking at the kettle boilers.
They don't. Let's see. That's an interesting question. I'm gonna address that in like 3 seconds. I'm gonna start at the beginning right here, just so I can get this one out the way. We saw them start to insulate one of the kettle boilers like a few weeks ago, and now they started on the second one. This one was done after the flyover, so now you can see that they've actually wrapped the second one. I'm guessing the other two will come shortly after. But these are the HESCO. I don't know if that's what you call them. HESCO.
Bastions, I think, is what they call that kind of wall.
Filled with dirt, a little bit of a berm action going on here to protect the bunker.
Yeah.
Of course, we have all of the scaffolding on the shameful water tank.
Glow.
Yeah, must be like a jungle gym in there. We got the side of the bunker. Man, these images are like super, super clear. Okay, one thing that I want to mention. So on the subject of the Raptor chill being moved off of the launch mount, like initially I thought that was already done. So there's a few pipes that come up here and enter. Sorry, I don't know if it's this one right here, but it goes back behind the wall, enters the building, and then I think it might be the same one that comes out right here. If not, this is probably like a prime up line. But initially, I thought that they were dumping out the LOX, the gaseous oxygen from Raptor Chill behind the berm, and that's what this was for. But clearly, that is not what happened.
Yeah, and if I remember correctly, there's another one like that down the other end of that bunker as well, on the back. There's two of them.
Yeah. There is. Okay, I'm not going to be able to see it from that angle. There's one right here, and this is for. You'll see this venting at the beginning of every single cryo test or static fire, whatever. This is one of the first things that starts venting. The behind the berm. Oh yeah, you can see them pretty good. You can see
you can just about see the
one
tops.
right here and another right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I think this one is for priming up the actual system. So like as they're flooding the system, flooding the pumps and all that, they're going to have to release a lot of the gases as they're immediately boiling off. And so I think that would come out of here. And then on the opposite side where there's a bunch of water pumps in here that like recycle water back to the tanks. And they're also producing autogenous pressurization for the tanks. So I have a feeling that if they were like overproducing liquid oxygen or nitrogen in particular, they might vent it out of the side over here. But I have never actually noticed this one venting. So, yeah, that's a tough one. But yeah, let's get back to the ground
Wait,
images.
before you go too far, there's a
Yeah.
question from Senti. He's actually got a couple of them about the same thing. He's asking you specifically, Zach, could cavitation in the kettle boilers or somewhere else be causing the pump motors to be repeatedly changed out? He
In the
says,
kettle boilers.
huh?
Not in the kettle boilers. So, um, this is something that I've thought about like before they even started this, and I kind of it was really confusing. So on the liquid oxygen side of the tank farm, they didn't have these additional ports on here, right? So there was no extra space for like your liquid oxygen to just be hanging out. However, well, there kind of is down in this area. So when you flood this line with liquid oxygen, ideally most of it's just going to go straight to these pumps, but some of it has to go back over here. So if it's just sitting in there, like imagine, I mean, you can just imagine it. Like it's not circulating that well through here. It's probably mostly just sitting there. So even though the pipes are insulated, whatever's sitting in here while the rest of the flow is going this way, theoretically could be boiling off, right? And then those gas bubbles got to go somewhere, so they could go back through the pumps. And same thing on this side, in particular with the unused methane ports. So I have a feeling that you could have methane built up inside of these T's. They're capped off, and over here as well. So while there's no flow, or sorry, you're pulling fluid through here, this is basically dead. And I would have to imagine there's got to be boil off, and therefore gas bubbles going back through the pumps. But the other thing about that is that these pumps, or sorry, the methane is stored at like very near its boil off temperature, anyways. So that's the reason why they're chilling it, and because the temperature is like close to its boil off temperature, it literally could be boiling off as it's entering the pumps. So the only way around that, in my opinion, would be to super chill what's already in the pumps. Like you would have to constantly be recirculating it and bringing the temperature down before you ever even reach these pumps in order to protect them. But that's literally the only solution I can think of if this is the problem that I think it is. But yeah, I don't know if that makes sense. Hopefully that
It
answers Cinti's question.
I'm pretty sure it did. And the coffee enthusiast just wants to say, have you ever thought about being a fluid dynamics engineer, Zach, instead of logistics?
Well, I'm a mechanical engineer and computer science and oil and gas. So I feel like mechanical engineers kind of just do a little bit of everything. So I do know about fluid dynamics a little bit, but not enough to like say for sure what's happening here. I don't know anybody online. I've not seen a single. I've been searching for like YouTube channels, specifically like Smarter Every Day or other channels like that, who can really explain cryo piping systems well enough in order to like add some more clarity on what's happening here. But it seems like the information on this type of application is like very, very limited as far as what you can find online. I'm sure if I went through some like published journals or something like that, I could find more information. But yeah, this is like a lot of like unknown stuff in here, in my opinion. And I would not go back and study fluid dynamics just to be able to speak towards it more. It's a lot of
Hey,
work.
everybody! If you want to join the team, and happen to have a background in cryogenics, give us a call.
Yeah, we're looking for CSI Starbase field agents who have cryogenic. Matter of fact, somebody told me that if I ever have to change the name of my channel, the C will stand for cryogenic systems investigator. But I literally do not have enough knowledge about cryo to even begin to change my name like that.
And
But
I feel like the investigators do a lot more than just the cryogenics aspect.
yeah, for sure. For sure. And continuing on, to anybody who's modeling the tank farm, where's this image at? Like I said, these are some of the clearest images I've ever seen. And I actually want to talk to Dave about this at some point. But we were looking for these. I believe these. So these are pumps right here, and I think, could be wrong. This is a blower, like a pump for air, essentially. So this is like a liquid pump, and I think these are gas pumps, but I could be wrong. And Dave's gonna like immediately respond, absolutely not, golden boy. um, so we'll wait for him to respond on that one. But let's get back to these ground images because I don't want to miss out on that. Oh wait, sorry. Were there more questions too, Andy?
There are more questions. There's one that asks from Moose Thompson, what are those 4 pyramidal stands with the stairs and 2? I don't know that you could answer that question because I'm not sure if there's enough information. Peanut does have a question, though. I'm not Peanut, excuse me. 55 Chevy guy Steve has a question and a $10 donation. He's asking about the booster, and he's asking, what's the idea of the single large square rubber block on only the left catch bar and the associated guide stringers on the booster? The rubber block seems too thick for the booster left lift pin. And then he adds more clarity, and he says, where'd he go? He says, he hopes his question is clear. The rubber block is the only one on the left catch bar.
Oh, I know what he's talking about.
I know what he's.
I got you.
I know what he's.
By the way,
I knew
speaking
you
of
would.
55 Chevy guy, he added me on Discord the other day, but then he didn't say anything. It was just like,
It was probably an accident. It happens because once you
no, he did not accidentally add me on Discord. He added me on purpose, and then he didn't say anything.
The note, because when you click on the name, it brings up the message, and
Nope.
sometimes you don't mean to do that. I've done that
Nope.
too, and it opens up a conversation, even though you
I know,
don't want to say anything.
I know he meant to add me. I know he did it.
I'm not saying he didn't mean to add you.
Anyways, so he's talking about this block right here. Let's see if I got a better image of it with a little more light. So this block right here, we believe may be made out of rubber or something like that, like something soft, and compressible. And over the last few days, they've, oh, hey, what does that say? Okay, we gotta be able to get closer on that one. Let's try there. Nah, we're too far to the side. So the blocks that he's talking about are these ones right here, this one right here, and It appears that they're going to install more of them. You can see that they've kind of been shaving away the paint along here. So I'm assuming that this entire area will get lined with them. And you can see it goes all the way to the end. So
Brake
I don't know.
pads?
Well, bumper pads, right? Like, so like when you're closing in the chopsticks, ideally super fast, they might actually bump into the edge of the booster.
Well, think of it like in terms of like a bicycle rubber brake pad where it's, going fairly slow, but that would really shave off a fair bit of the velocity there.
Whoa, are you saying the booster would slide along these?
A little bit. Yeah, and
Oh
just
my
a little
god!
squeezing, that'll
Wow,
stop it. That's awesome.
dang. Um, wow, I don't know what to say to that.
I don't hate that idea.
It's interesting. I mean, oh man, that I don't like the sound of it, but I mean, I could see it. I could see it. Like once the arms would probably close around the booster, like shortly after the engines pass through the chopsticks, and then you're just getting closer and closer and closer as it's falling, and then at some point you actually make contact, and then the booster continues to slide down it. Oh my gosh! Hold on.
Right?
Did you
No,
just see what
One
I
second.
saw?
We
Proof that
have
they intend to
this.
slide.
Look at this. Okay, that's not what I wanted.
There it is.
So these, wow, really happening, huh? Okay, so the as you guys can see, the what are they called? Stringers
Stringers.
on the edge of the booster. They're all pretty much uniform until you get to below the catching mechanism, and then they actually slope upwards like this. So you can see that they slope.
that's
God,
so the rubber brake pads don't
slide up it.
yeah.
Jesus.
These guys are nuts.
Wow.
Pioneers, my friend, pioneers.
I'm not hating on it at all, by the way. I'm just blown away. Imagining I mean, this would have to be like a frictionless pad almost, or so that it can slide without actually grabbing the booster, and like, because if there's too much friction between those two surfaces,
Yeah.
theoretically, yeah, it
So
can.
yeah, they make rubbers of different synthetic rubbers of different grip and friction and mu and all that jazz. So yeah, you would not probably want an ablative rubber brake, but yeah, no, it would work. You could have a kind of a hard cushy rubber that would grab on, and then it would have a lot of friction to it, but not too much. It would allow it to slide, and you could also just wet it down a little bit before it catches.
Credence says rubber booster bumper brakes.
Exactly.
Looks like we got a bit of a mixed reaction to the this bumper in the live chat.
Well, that's always going to happen.
And the live chat is also very generous to donate. Rocket Profit donated $20, and Joey Bag of Donuts donated $20 as well.
Someone say
Appreciate you guys.
donuts.
Joey Bag of Donuts. You need to be an American to understand that.
What are you talking about?
Joey Bag
So-
of Donuts. Sorry.
I'm walking here.
Do you guys think I answered that question enough, or can we move on, or no?
Yeah.
So 55 Chevy Guy Steve actually says he's concerned about the thickness of the pad compared to the distance of the lift pin to the hull. Did that make
I'm
sense?
concerned there's a pad in the first place. Like I said, it makes sense.
Move on.
Here's the other thing about this is that like these pads are going to extend all the way to the end of the rail, right? So if they shorten the chopsticks, the secondary like the ones at in Florida, like it should further bewilders me that they're pushing this pad so far out, and then you would have like a shorter set of chopsticks in Florida, like I would almost expect that they wouldn't need them all the way up here because they're expecting to be able to land perfectly in the middle. But
Well, the Florida tower number 2, or the first tower in Florida, is we're suspecting just for lifting operations, possibly not catching. And they might have a third tower for catching out there. But yeah, we know that these rubber bumpers are not required for lifting because they've already lifted everything without them. So in my mind, that says these are for catching.
right. Yeah, and you know, I'm on the fence about that theory. Obviously, I do believe there's a third tower, but as far as there being one just for catching and one just for lifting and launching, I'm not 100% sure about that because the other, the chopsticks, the second set of chopsticks have this these attachments right here for the hydraulic pistons, and they have, well, I think they have to have the landing rail for lifting the booster, but they don't necessarily need this part, and they have it. So unless they installed them on there before they, no, actually they added these on after the fact. So these were delivered to the Roberts Road facility, and then they were installed after we were already aware that the arms were shorter. So if they change their mind and we're only going to lift with that those set of chopsticks, I don't think we would see this on there. So I personally believe they will actually catch vehicles at that facility.
Yeah, the way I see it is they've added the capability now to be able to catch vehicles from LC-39A, but they won't actually start doing that until they've demonstrated at another site that the whole concept works, basically.
I could get behind that. Yeah.
All right. We have 20 minutes left, and I'm not going to lie, there's a chance we might have to extend this a little bit.
I'm in it to win it. As long as you want to stay, I'm here.
It is what it is. We might not have a choice. So, everybody in the chat's probably gonna be like, "Yeah, extend it."
Well,
No,
everybody on
we'll
stream
try.
will probably be like, yeah, extend it too.
Meanwhile, the mods are like, "Wait, what?" So we
Especially the
looking
ones
up
in Europe
on.
for ones.
Oh yeah, right. It's getting kind of late over there.
It's like
9 p.m.
almost 9.
ish.
Yeah, almost 9.
Yeah.
They're 8:42.
I just wanted to point out, I love that guy's sombrero hard hat. That's awesome. Great sun
beekeeper's hat
protection.
without the netting.
Was it this one?
No.
Where?
No, it was the other one that you had.
He's right under the
There
order.
There
it
you go.
is. That's our friend.
That's a hard hat.
Da-na-na-na-na-na-na.
With a brim on it.
Mauricio,
Now, is
isn't
that
that like
two
a
hats or is
beekeeper's
that
hat?
one?
You already know I'm going to order me one of those.
I thought it's like a
By the way,
beekeeper's
I
hat.
literally traveled all the way back to Denver in between my last 2 episodes so I could go get all of my safety gear from my last job so that for that last episode. Like, went all the way. My mom, don't tell my mom this. She thinks I went to see her. But
You did go to see her.
I had to get that hard hat, yo.
Hey, nobody
So,
got to know the real reason.
we know now. So
She's just
continuing
kidding,
on.
Mom.
Yeah, I don't think she watches this show, so we're good. We talked about a little earlier in the episode these pipes that are coming out of the side of the launch mount, and they are now cutting them down in order to put them into connect them to this manifold right here, so you can see. Oh wow, yeah, you can see down here 2 of them that are connected. Maybe we have a better image of that.
So I noticed on some of these engine chill pipes that there's yellow stuff on them as well.
Oh,
Isn't that
oops.
the paint coming through?
We have more connected ones right here.
Not on the engine chill pipe book.
Oh, sorry.
Man.
Yeah, see what I'm talking about, the yellow stuff? That's
Yes.
present on some of them, yeah. You'll notice that's on one in each pair.
Yeah. I mean, I truly believe it's both NOx and methane, but
Yeah.
Crazy.
I know they'll be if that's the case, then if it is both of them, which we don't know for sure yet, that would mean that they are combining liquid oxygen or gaseous oxygen and gaseous methane into one pipe and ideally sending it into a
Flare stack.
flare stack. Yeah. And that makes sense to me, honestly. Like that's one of the only ways you're going to be able to separate those two. Well, you're not even separating them. You're just combusting it. Because once you combine the two, it's probably really hard to separate them again. And so it makes sense to do that. I'm honestly thinking that the Raptor chill gases, like there's not like, I think a lot of people are assuming that one of them is or one of them is oxygen and the other one is methane. But I have a feeling that one of them is actually oxidizer rich and the other one is methane rich or fuel rich. Like I think that they're both. I think there's a possibility that both of them are already a mixed gas. Honestly, because that's what it is inside of the pre-burners, anyways. So yeah, I think that it only makes sense that these are also mixed. One of them probably has way more oxygen in it, and the other one has way more methane. But
So-
that would make sense to combine them if that was the case.
And we're combining them because they're venting out?
Yeah, so instead of venting them out of the bottom of the booster,
Yes.
you're sending them into this manifold. Also incredibly dangerous because if so in the burn pit where these are connected to, so like this pipe goes down the leg and then it goes to that burn pit that we showed earlier. If you had a flare stack on the end of that, then you don't really need to worry about like flame arresters or anything because ideally you shouldn't have flames traveling backwards through that pipe.
Mhm.
But you could potentially have flames travel forward through the pipe, which would potentially blow that entire line. Is 100% a possibility. This is like I said, this is not a permanent solution, and it's also not a good one, in my opinion.
I thought it was the permanent solution because of the way that they're putting it in.
No, this is not a permanent solution. Like these, if you look at just the way these pipes are down here, like that is not that those are going to get blown off 100%. If they actually launch the vehicle, these are getting blown off.
How do they cover them?
Yes, they would have to put a shield over them. If they even still, they okay. You can see how they end right here. I mean, they are to some degree protected above by that huge nitrogen pipe.
And you can't see them from when we do aerial shots.
Yeah, but I mean, either way, like you cannot just directly connect these to the Raptors and then launch like that. Like this, in my opinion, this is for testing only. And there's a possibility that during an actual launch sequence that they won't have to vent anywhere near as much as they do before a static fire test for some reason. Like they're testing things that aren't necessarily going to happen the same way during a launch. So like, for example, that spin start was probably like 3,000% longer than what actually happens during a spin start. So this could just be like for that testing purpose, because during an actual launch, they probably won't be doing that huge venting that they had on the spin start. So,
so this system, you probably could use it for the first launch, but then obviously you can't use all that pipework again because it'll just be destroyed.
Yeah,
it'll be fine.
You think?
No, God, no! It's going to be destroyed.
We'll see.
I was like, are you sure about that?
I mean, left uncovered for sure, but if they cover it,
yeah.
You're saying there's a chance.
I'm saying there's a chance.
And again, for those who joined late, you can see this guy working on the pipe right here. He might actually be testing a weld, possibly. But you can see it come out of the bottom of the little doghouse down here, and then out of the ground, as we mentioned before.
It's interesting to me that they covered the cryo pipe in concrete. Like it's a concrete. What? Well, what?
It's not cryo but it is also interesting that it's inside there because it's not a tight fit, so it's going to be vibrating inside of there.
Right. And isn't concrete potentially going to get cold where it's sitting and crack?
Nah, it'll be fine.
Nah.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think so.
And so you're saying it's not going to be cryo either? Sorry, Max.
There was another thing I wanted to point out as well on that leg, just now on that old leg with all the pipes going up of it. There's another new pipe going up it, a really thin one.
Oh yeah. Let's see.
Indian Star. If they flowed the cryo fluid through the concrete pipe, it would probably crack, but flowing it through a metal pipe that then sits inside of the concrete pipe, I would doubt just the cold would crack it.
Whoa. Okay, the new one is this one right here, right? That's just conduit.
Yeah.
That's just electrical conduit.
Yeah, it's not connected to anything at the bottom from what I've seen, but yeah, that's definitely something new.
Gonna be
That's
adding
probably
something
for
else in there.
the new igniter system for the methalox pipe.
I don't know. I mean, it's well, now that I think about it, I don't know if we ever saw the electrical conduit leave the launch mount that connects all of these, or sorry, the elevators. Or the what are they called? Chain hoists.
That's a good point, actually.
It could be connected to that directly. So no, it's not.
No, there's if you look to the left of the jib crane on the outside of the launch ring, that's where all that conduit's going for the winches.
Oh. Does it come down the leg somewhere?
I have no idea. That's all I've seen so far.
Yeah, it seems like it terminates there, but not 100% sure on that one. Developing story. We will continue on that one, but I want to move us forward a little bit because we have spent a ton of time talking about this, but it is rather exciting in my opinion. But Mauricio got some really awesome images from behind the launch mount. Oh man, I can't skip all these. There's so much to see, like being able to see through these doors. Oops. This is one of the best angles I've ever seen of the hydraulic pistons that actually actuate the clamps.
Yeah.
I might actually
Nice.
pull my video off of YouTube and redo it with this image.
Here we go, another 55 minutes.
Oh, there was another one that showed it really good too. But yeah, I mean, this is pretty. Oh wow, yeah, there we go.
Yeah, that's seriously awesome.
Wait, that's the back of the Raptor quick disconnect right there?
Yeah.
In the OLM itself, that's correct.
There are 20 of these.
Oh, that's baller.
I feel like we should just enjoy this for a second. That is, yeah, absolutely insane. And obviously you can tell that it's pretty busy back there. So it makes sense that they don't have they might not have the ability to add even more stuff onto here because it seems pretty occupied
crowded
already. Jesus. These, like I said, these are the best angles we've ever seen of the launch mount, in my opinion. And I am struggling right now because there's lots of details in here that I've never seen before. Like this right here is a flame arrestor behind this, which means that this pipe right here is probably a huge methane pipe, if I had to guess, a gaseous methane pipe. Wow. I mean, look at all this stuff up here. It's crazy. Let's continue on.
Sharpie caught this. Did you see that? The no smoking sign?
Oh, yeah. And no vaping.
I'm not going to say I haven't seen anybody do that, but
just keep on going.
Those vaping pens have little heating elements in them, don't they? Just not good mix.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know. So continuing on, we got some good images of the chopsticks. You can see, and we're gonna have to dive into this a little bit later, but you can see obviously the accumulator, the gas spring accumulator, whatever you want to call it, for the arms of the chopsticks to move them in and out. Really, really awesome angle of that. We also have this really cool shot, looking at the launch mount from another angle that we haven't seen in a while. So this is looking up the actual, straight up the stairway. If you guys have ever played the Starbase simulator, I don't know if we can link that in the chat, but you can actually walk up these stairs in the simulator, which is really cool. They did a really good job of this. I
Is
think
that
their stairway expands. Go
is
ahead.
that guy Aldi who does the Starbase?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Honestly, I love it.
The thing that I absolutely love about that guy and that program is we were joking about loading the Starlinks on the chopsticks arms, and within like an hour, he had modeled it inside that game.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. um,
And then
looking,
SpaceX got us all with, we're going to do it with a crane.
I'm trying to find. Wow, I love this angle just because you can see how nice this berm looks. Kind of. Um,
Still clean. Oh, Daisy's growing in it already.
yeah. What is that?
Oh, that's not good. That means
Come on,
they
man.
didn't. Maybe they haven't
That's good.
concreted the top yet.
No, they haven't. Look at, you can see it from this angle.
Yeah, it looks like there's still loose gravel.
Look
But
at
we
this
got to get away from
protection
the
on
dirt. We
the.
don't have the time.
We're running late today.
It's okay. We're gonna just we'll go a little late. So on the left side over here, there's a. No, I'm not gonna talk about that. Let's see. I want to move us through a few more ground images because there's a ton of really good stuff. This is the wall that we mentioned earlier, which the dirt used to go all the way down to this level, which you can see down here, and obviously it's all the way built up right now. And where are they pouring concrete at?
This is the Part C. Yeah, that's the Part C expansion, isn't it?
Yeah, you can see that little wall that goes all the way down here. Cooper
Not
scooping.
quite sure. Yeah, I'm gonna say I'm not quite sure what these are all up to there.
Yeah, me neither. I was trying to figure that out earlier, but yeah, this is a really cool angle just in general, being able to see all of this stuff. Um, Again, I'm going to skip over the one thing I was going to talk about over there, but yeah, being able to see the ship from this angle too is absolutely amazing. They have
Dude,
something that to note, which appears that we might see soon. Well, number one, they added additional shielding onto here recently, and it appears that they're going to be adding more concrete around the legs in order to probably put additional shields there, similar to the launch mount. I'm surprised that hasn't been done yet because I've been seeing this for a while that when they added this in here, but they've yet to pour the actual concrete around it. So
I think this is a pretty big hint of what we can expect with 6 Raptor 2s firing together.
yeah,
as in,
It's going to be pretty serious.
yeah, because of the fortification. Yeah?
Yeah.
Now, is that thing filled in? Is it solid or is it just a plank at the moment?
Just steel shielding at the moment, but they
Yeah.
probably will fill in the space behind them.
So one of my favorite questions. Oh, by the way, look at that beauty.
Yeah.
Why don't they put just some steel plates under the launch pad to avoid all that concrete blowing up?
That's,
mean, it's a
not a
pretty
bad
good
question, actually.
like a large steel plate underneath it. Like,
Yeah, just like a half inch of it doesn't even have to be stainless. They got enough of that laying around. It could withstand, a second or two of a fire.
yeah, I'd have to agree with that actually. Wait, what is this?
He's
Oh
just
wow,
admiring his work.
they're lifting. This was them lifting the shields in place, I think.
Yeah.
Wow, so they're that new. Okay. So what they're going to do is put these plates down, then pour cement in the middle of them. It looks like permanent concrete forms, essentially.
Yeah.
Upgrade. We got our boundary line for the site, which is expanding still. And Indy, as I'm going through these, if there's any more questions that are remaining in the chat, we should address those as well, since we're getting relatively close to the end, even though we're no personnel access.
So there are a couple of donations that we want to give shout outs to. We got a donation from Cranky Old Man. He's donated $20 for the storage fund and $5 from Jim Cabot. Thank you both so much. We appreciate it. And then question-wise, there's a question about Star Factory. Brandon Lair asks, how does the height of Star Factory compare to the tents? Same height?
Well, the opening of the current portion of the Star Factory, yeah, it's a little bit shorter than the tent, but the opening and the accessible area that you can get in and out is right about the same for the lower tents compared to the current version of Star Factory. However, Star Factory gets taller the closer you get to the road. So in the end, it may end up being taller than Tent 3, which is the nose cone section production tent. So it may ultimately end up being as tall or taller than that, or even the little iron hinge windbreak area.
Yeah.
Right on. This question's actually for Mauricio. Mauricio Sharpie asks, did you take close-up pictures of new gate concrete with drainage at gate D2 perchance?
That's at the entrance of the launch site, right?
Yeah, where they're
That's what he's
building the
talking.
gate.
There is one image, but there's not much to see as far as the drainage goes. The fence was obscuring the view from the ground there. But I think we have an image of that.
Yeah.
And before we get to that part, Zach, I don't know if you want to show that window that got blown in by the explosion.
Where is that?
I think it went past it. Should have been some images prior to that.
This is
Yeah,
what
it's about
happens when we
halfway
have
behind the launch site.
432 pictures, by the way. Good problem to have, in my opinion.
Is that it? No, a bit further to the left.
We haven't even talked about those covers.
Where is it?
Oh no, hey Zach, you're going the wrong way. It's more to the right.
The other way.
I think Max Q meant it's further view to the left, not the actual
Yeah,
camera.
that's it.
They drive on the opposite side of the road where he's from. That makes sense.
Okay, now it's more to the left.
So there's this window, and it's like totally blown in, but it's not broken. And that's what he's going to show you a picture of.
Yeah, I feel like I'm getting close. There we go.
There we are.
Booster 7. Nice.
So if that's the only damage, though, from all of that, that's not so bad.
Well, this is not the only damage. This is the only remaining damage, I would say, but...
Oh, yeah. Well, there's all that.
That's pretty significant.
And maybe a couple of Raptors here and there that were lost in the boom.
It'd be cool if there was a camera in there so we could see what it looked like when it actually blew out.
I bet you there is. We just haven't seen it because it's SpaceX stuff. They have cameras everywhere.
One of these days.
Camera right above it, in fact.
So I briefly touched on this picture earlier because I wanted to mention something that got added on here. These pieces right here are also on tower number 2 at the Roberts Road facility. No idea what they are, but whatever it is, it's important enough for them to add on right now. They got all this scaffolding in here, and there's a bunch of scaffolding on the left side as well too, I think. So they're probably adding them on at least 2 sides. Gonna have to keep our eyes on that one because we have no idea what it is about. But
and they added those like things that you have on the when you're unfolding a foldable table that locks them in place. They had those.
Really?
Yeah. On the
I think I have another angle coming up here soon. Oh my gosh, this is such a crazy picture.
Look at that. Look at those little.
Look at all that pipe work.
See them all going into the one?
This is unreal.
Oh, wait. Hold on. I just noticed something. Go to your left and go down. Hey, on this one, the green one is not on the red.
Well, that could be perspective, right? Because we are on the side of it.
That could be true.
But you're right. It doesn't look like it's on that, but that
Yeah, it
doesn't
doesn't
mean
look like it
anything.
does. Looks like it's behind the other one. Oh man, so confusing. Look at this. They have even more mounts over here for more
That's right.
pipes that are still not there yet.
And they have singles. You see the single right there, just to the left
Yeah.
of the yeah.
I don't know what that's about.
And you
This
see
is
it
a single
feeding
too.
into the pipe. You actually can see it feeding into the pipe on that one you were just on the single. If you go up slightly, you can see it. It's connected.
You
And
guys, India's studied these pictures a lot more than I have this time
kid,
around.
I'm
So,
trying to be good. I'm not trying to get yeah.
so yeah, I can't really see where it does it go up into here.
It goes around and down. That pipe goes down and feeds into the pipe that it goes into, and then it goes to the right.
What the heck?
And it feeds into that other pipe that feeds again into that piece right there where the connectors are with the red little faces.
Yeah,
And then they go up and into your pipe.
that's
Dun, da, da,
insane.
da.
Look at this though. Look at the.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah. Anybody who thinks that the second launch mount is going to be done by the end of the year is crazy.
No.
Crazy.
I'll be surprised if we see the first launch by this time next year down in Florida.
Wow. This is incredible. You see all these little flex hoses that come over the back for all the gases that go into the COPVs, I'm guessing.
What's
But,
is that safety wire or what is that hanging all around there?
It
that's a
looks
great
like
question.
safety wire. Yeah.
Oh, for those who don't know, safety wire is run through aircraft grade bolts to make sure that if they can't fall off.
What is that? Whoa.
That is
is-
amazing. Look at that. That is
Wait, is that engine shielding?
yes.
Yeah,
That is
that's from
exactly what that
B7.
is. And
Holy
I'm curious
crap.
if that blanket is not like a
Yeah.
fire blanket.
Taking quite a beating.
Max Q says this is the shape, but I'm wondering if it flipped because of the boom.
No, that's the outside of it.
It looks like styrofoam got burnt.
It looks like a
This is
blanket
supposed to be
got
thermal
burned.
shielding?
Yeah, engine shielding right on the inside.
And that's for one of the
Okay.
center engines, to be precise. That is styrofoam.
That's
Holy crap.
holy smokers. Look at that, Mauricio.
I feel like
Wow.
I'm looking at dinosaur skin.
It looks like cells, dude. They look like single cells. They look like your skin when you go up close
Yikes.
under a microscope. And lava.
It's
There's
intense.
2 layers there by the looks of it.
Yeah, I think so.
So I think one of those is a blanket layer for adhesion, and the other is like a ceramic silica thermal system, perhaps.
Well, what part of that is silica to you?
The black crumbly part.
We were talking about this yesterday on the show and tell. And is this in reference to the explosion, as far as that the explosion started up closer up to the Raptor engines rather than below, like some people thought?
Yeah.
It's
At least-
proof
Yeah,
that
definitely.
is true, in a sense.
It has to be true. I mean,
Yeah, no, I don't doubt it.
this is incredible. Okay, I got
You explained
Anyways.
it too. You explained it in your video really, really clearly. You show it frame by frame.
Yeah, it does. It does definitely look like to me that the flames started directly below the engine. It looks like a lightning bolt coming out of the bottom of the engine. So if you guys haven't seen that video, definitely check it out after we end this stream. All you gotta do is search for CSI Starbase, and then you will
It's his
find the
newest one.
first. Yeah,
It's amazing. I highly
super
recommend
long.
it.
You may be tired right now from this whole show, so I can understand if you guys don't have time.
Eat something,
But
come back with a drink. You'll love it. It's only 55 minutes, I think. Dude, and it flies
yeah,
by. And I
55.
bring a notepad and paper if you're old school, or your computer or your tablet, because you will be taking notes. He does a superb job. And the graphics in there, I have to say, I liked them. I know comments are a little funny like that, but I loved it. I was dying. That opening
Yeah,
scene
thanks.
was
Shout out to everybody who helped out with images for that episode. definitely wouldn't be possible in particular without Mauricio and Starship Gazer. So I want to throw that one out there. And obviously Kevin from, Chief from What About It.
And Jeff.
Yeah, obviously Jeff, who does all the editing on that. And Jeff does our intros for the show as well, too. So shout out to Jeff for that. I don't know if he's here with us today, but
I haven't heard or seen him at all.
Yeah, I saw him briefly in the live chat earlier.
I guess he's too cool for us.
Or it's like 10 o'clock his time. Poor guy. 9 o'clock.
Yeah. And I just want to make sure that we're not missing anything really awesome in here before we close out this stream, because we're 9 minutes over now. But I highly recommend, as I said before, if you guys have not downloaded these images already, to do so you can go through them, because there's a ton of awesome stuff right here. Is that a ship nose cone lifting jig?
It's similar to the nose cone lifting jig, but it's I think they use that with the normal ring section jigs.
Oh, hey. Look at you. Yeah, she's looking good.
She always
so you rip all the tiles off.
Those nose cone welds are certainly looking a lot better now.
Isn't it every guy's crazy for a well-dressed... No, I guess it's the other way around.
Yeah.
Sharp-dressed man.
Yeah, I was going to say a sharp-dressed lady. Well-dressed lady.
So if you go back to that ring section, that is quite an interesting one, because we think that has been sleeved over one of the new stretch foam domes.
This is a booster, right?
Yeah, that's a booster common dome sleeve.
Over a stretch foam dome?
Yeah, one of the new design domes.
Wow. Okie dokie then.
So it may be used for a booster, or it may be test tank material.
Wow. Lots of new updates out here. I'm going to scroll through a few more of these images really quick. Hold on, I'm checking how many we have left. Okay, I think we have enough that we could probably go just a few more minutes and show the rest of these off really quick.
Before you get too far, I got to give a shout out to the Shard Baby. Shard Baby says he's looking forward to you answering the Ship 26 tilting mystery. I love that he knows that.
Wait, the what?
Ship 26 tilting mystery.
Why is it tilting?
Dude, you say it in your video. That's what he's referring to. At least I think. That's what? No? Am I wrong? Did I get it all wrong?
I'm not sure.
Okay, never mind.
Whoa, wait. This is the dome the flat dome that the booster section got. Okay.
That's the one.
Wow. Look how tall this is. Sorry. Is that on top of... Oh, my.
Dear OSHA.
Interesting.
No problem here. Move along.
Yeah, I think we're almost ready to wrap it up. If we want to start saying our ending thanks and credits and all that stuff, we probably can, and I'll go through some more of these ground images as we do so. On my side, I want to say thank you to everybody who's came out here today. We have looks like still 600 of you in here, and you guys got us well past the 420 like mark, which we appreciate so much. And if you guys haven't done so already, please make sure you do hit that like button. And I just want to say thank you guys again for contributing to the hard drive fund, because it's definitely super necessary for us. And with that being said, I'll pass it off to Indy. Or who's next?
Indy's good. Thanks you all for coming. Thank you all in the chat. We love you guys so much. We would not have a great stream without any of you guys. I encourage anybody listening to come join us in the chat. Come join us live. We want to interact with you. We want you to interact with us. And if you become a subscription member through Patreon or YouTube, you can actually join us after the show in one of the voice chats where we can all talk and have conversation. And you can ask these questions that I didn't get to ask in this session there too, and we can finish off the conversation. So join us next week. Thanks for coming this time. Oh, GPJ.
I was going to hand it off to Mauricio and Max Q.
All right. Well, I just want to say thank you, everybody, for joining us today for episode 35. I hope to see you back on episode 36. And thank you all for the support. And I'll pass it on to Max Q there.
Just want to say thank you all for tuning in, everyone. It's great to see so many familiar faces back for yet another episode. And thank you so much for the support that you constantly give us throughout all these streams. Yeah, we wouldn't be where we are without all of you lot. I hope to see you all again for the next episode.
All right. With that, main engine cut off. Stage separation confirmed. Love you. Bye.